We are also brought to you by Continental Belts. When you're under the hood, you ever notice how often you see Continental Belts? There is a reason for that. Continental is one of the world's largest original equipment suppliers for the automotive industry. Automakers around the world insist on Continental for original equipment belts. The US, all the big three, BMW, Volkswagen, over 30% of all new vehicles sold in North America. You know what that says? It says Continental knows original equipment because they are original equipment. Continental's OE Technology Series multi-V belts for the automotive aftermarket are precision engineered for perfect fit, form, and function with a true OE pedigree. They're the belts engines already know, so you can confidently spec Continental's multi-V belts. There's one for 98% of the vehicles on the road today. You might not know it, but Continental is also a leader in automotive technology, electronic components for things like autonomous driving and accident-free zones. That focus on innovation is in every product they make, including the OE Technology Series aftermarket belts. Check them out. Just check them out. That's all we're asking. Just check them out. And lastly, we're brought to you by Rad Power Bikes. This is a consumer direct electric bike company producing 5 unique models of electric bicycles. Because Rad Power Bikes is a consumer direct brand, buyers get a premium electric bike without paying the huge markups caused by dealers and third-party retailers, priced at often less than half of the price of comparable bikes on the market, because dealer and retail markups are completely cut out. On top of their already awesome prices, this coming Cyber Monday, which is November 26th, Rad Power Bikes is making it even easier to get people riding. There are deals on all models of electric bikes with up to $400 off per model. One day only sale on Cyber Monday. Cyber Monday also includes free shipping on all electric bikes to the lower 48 states. Save you some extra cash there. At 750 watts of power, all 5 models have the most powerful motor an e-bike can have, while maintaining a street legal status. No license, registration, or insurance required. You can finance your bike for as low as 0% APR. Just about $100 a month can get you riding. All 5 models will reach 20 miles an hour with 0 pedaling. All 5 models give riders the choice to ride pedal 3 with the throttle, utilize 5 levels of pedal assist for added boost, or any combination of the two. You can travel between 20 and 40 miles on a single charge. I've ridden these things. They are really fun. You can go quite a bit faster than you can go on a normal bike, and you can use them as fully under power, so you can get to work or whatever without being all sweaty from pedaling. Visit www.radpowerbikes.com/podcast. That's radpowerbikes.com/podcast to learn more, and don't forget to shop their Cyber Monday sale on November 26th to save big. Okay, on this episode, we got an old friend back in studio. Betim Berisha is the owner of BBI Autosport, which in just 8 or 9 short years has grown to be one of the world's best-known Porsche tuners, engine builders, customizers, and as he says in the show, I can take a little bit of credit for that. I was one of the first people to ever give them any publicity way back in 2009, and now, thanks to their hard work and a lot of videos that us and others have made with them, they're pretty much a household name when it comes to Porsches. We talk about a lot of interesting things, including hybrids and the future of what tuning could look like, as well as how he has built that business, and built it and rebuilt it several times. This show goes a little long and actually, unfortunately, ends rather abruptly at the 2-hour mark, as our Wirecast system completely crapped out. So we don't actually have like an ending. It just sort of dies. So for that, I am sorry. But here he is, Betim Berisha on the Smoking Tire Podcast. All right. Well, we don't need to do a pre-show. Fuck it. Smoking Tire Podcast. Hello. It's Thursday. What's happening? And we've got the Blantons. What up, Betim?
What's going on? Thanks for
Betim
having
Berisha,
me.
BBI Autosport. What up, live crew? What up, Zach? We just went to Starbucks together in Zachary's M tray.
Oh, nice.
And it took a fucking poo right outside the office.
Sure did.
Just stopped working. It just turned off.
You haven't been in it in 6 months.
Yeah.
We drove
1 block.
Yeah, we drove like
And
a quarter of a mile.
Of course. Of course.
Like, he pulled away from the stop sign, and I was like, haha, you're in 4th gear, and tried to pull away, and he was like, I'm not.
No, but that's what we got.
That's the car doing that.
I think I changed the plugs last year. And I think my cat was getting like bad data and then sending too much fuel and whatever, and that's probably happened again. And now I probably need to change the plugs again.
Just fouled out.
Probably fouled out.
Yeah.
Then I probably need to buy new cats, but then I probably need $800.
There isn't an M3 on Earth that doesn't need 10 grand of something.
Of something.
Totally,
Yeah.
100% true.
It's fucking
Armin's was mint, and he's like, it's got some isms.
Yeah.
some isms.
Always has some isms.
Some isms.
Hey,
I
but-
forgot how good fucking Blanton's
I know.
is. Jesus, Blanton's
I saw
is
the Blanton's. I was
fucking
like,
tits.
all right, you guys treat your guests well.
Joe Rogan just ended his sober October with a fucking bottle of Blanton's on his show.
There he goes.
And now I remember why.
Yeah.
Just bomb as fuck.
So good.
Do you know how many engines Camisa's had in that Scirocco, by the way? We were
Did he
talking after
say?
he left. 20. So your car, saying burns a little oil. He was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going through another engine because
Mine
I'm not
burns.
sure if the
His
rings
car
fit."
burns engines.
Yeah, when I had the 944 way back in the day, I would buy junkyard engines and I'd have 2 of them. You'd go out, you do a track day, and then the thing starts hopefully it doesn't start knocking by the time you finish the 2-day event, and then engine out, replace it. Engine out, replace it.
Someone the other day asked us, and get in the super chat if you want to ask us fucking questions. But Tim's actually the smart engineer, so we might actually be able to answer technical questions.
I doubt
today,
it.
which normally we can't do. But someone said, beater track car 944 versus E30, and I said E30 all the way because 944 parts are crazy expensive and they were a pain in the dick, right?
100%.
Yeah,
944 is so much fun though. I mean,
they're nice.
They're a lot of fun.
They are.
I'm so scared of them. they ruined me at an early age. So
you know what I really like? I really like driving someone else's really well set up one for 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I drove one that was like 350 horsepower turbo one, and it was rad. And I'm like, I'm so glad this is yours.
Yes, because every time you get on it, you're like, please just stay together. Yeah.
Yeah. What's happening? How's business?
Business is good.
Yeah. Did you do Optima? Did you just get back from Optima?
Yeah, I didn't do the Optima challenge though. I did. We did SEMA.
Yeah, you guys had a fuckload of cars at SEMA.
We did. Yeah.
I saw at least 3 or 4 on your Instagram, right?
Yeah. We had 3. There's 4 there, but 3 in the Optima booth.
Yeah.
A new 2RS, a new GT3 RS, and then Joe's Maniac Street R that we've built.
Is that the one with the race car body on it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a GT3 with a full race car body on it?
Yeah, exactly. That's an insane build because we didn't. So
it's street legal.
It's street legal.
Yeah. Wait, Zach, scroll up. There's a picture of it up top. I saw. Keep going. No, keep going. On the right, there.
There it is.
Yeah, that's a fucking street car. That's rad.
Yeah. So
is it a cup car body?
no. So that's the.
Is it an RSR body?
That's the FIA GT3R body. So it's in between a cup and an RSR. It's their.
Jeez.
Yeah. It's like a foot wider than the GT3 RS next to it.
Jeez. So much fender.
That was and still is a pretty big technical exercise. I mean,
what do you have to do to make a GT3 chassis fit under that body?
Well, the wheelbase is longer now.
The wheelbase is longer?
The rear wheel is back further. The front wheel is forward just a little bit further than its original location. We had to cut the tubs out of the back of the car.
Oh, fuck,
We had to have this guy Matthew hand make us these, by the way, beautiful inner tubs, rebond them, and they were welded in some spots, bonded in the other because aluminum, steel. And then
God.
And then we made them so, because they have carbon Kevlar inner fender liners, and we made it so when you could put the OEM interior right back on it. But I mean, it is credit card.
That's a full interior car?
Full interior.
What?
Navi, AC, the whole bit.
Because I drove a car that HG did that had that was a cup car body.
Yeah,
on a GT3.
The street cup,
The
right?
street cup, yeah. It was fucking awesome. I mean, it was
Badass
super
car.
cool.
Yeah.
But this is way beyond that. That had a standard wheelbase.
Yeah, so
that was body panels,
yes.
fundamentally.
Yeah, this one's Cup R. So
That's so crazy.
And then the subframes, we raised all the pickup points. We had to move chassis, like metal, away to keep the control arm heights up there.
So it doesn't rub.
Right. And then there's the other thing that we did was we ended up taking Cup car knuckles, machining them out so you can put the electric e-brake in it. I mean,
is the motor all crazy, or is it basically a stock motor?
Bone stock with exhaust right now, but we're slated to twin turbo the car.
What?
You're doing like it's a 4-liter with a twin turbo?
Yeah, so
You guys.
the customer found a brand new 4-liter out of Europe that was in a wrecked car. Mm-hmm. He bought that because the 4-liter, the new.
What does that go for? 40, 50 grand?
No, I think it was right at about 30 something, 30
That's not
like
that
low
bad.
30s shipped.
Not
is
that
what
bad.
That's what I thought he got that for, and so we decided to do that because those engines they're nose oiled also, meaning that they have a pressure line in the nose of the crankshaft, like back in the day with the old Formula One cars, to keep proper oiling throughout the whole crankshaft.
Like under high G loads?
Yep. Yeah, so you don't have like a rod bearing issue. So we decided if we're going to twin turbo it, let's start with the best possible bottom end, and then there you go.
How often
me.
does he drive this on the street? Like, it's street legal.
We
but
haven't
it's-
delivered it yet. That was
Oh,
the
you
first
haven't.
outing that it did. So
Have you driven on the street?
just up and down my street. I mean, it's not quite ready yet.
Does something like that drive good?
Yeah.
I feel like that's like a good plan, but I feel like that's not really what you want to be driving on the street.
You can build it two ways. You can throw the stuff on it, call it a day.
Yeah.
But this customer is so uberly picky about how he likes the cars to drive. So he's like, I don't care what it takes, just make it drive right. And so then,
What's his definition? Like, what does he want in a street-driven car? Because some people are happy to drive a super stiff race car on the street, or if they want real compliant.
It has to be compliant. It can't bounce you out of the seat when you hit big bumps. Lock to lock, you got to be able to turn the car, getting in and out of driveways. So we're drawing up
nose lift.
We're doing we have to do the whole car lift. So
it's
we're
full
drawing that.
car
Yeah,
lift.
because we had custom JRZs made for it. But in order to do a cup car, you had to have street car uppers, cup car R subframes. It is just a mash, and then we had to have more droop in it. So when you have the HLS, it allows you to pick the car up further because on a cup car you have the air jacks that picks the car up, so you don't have much droop, so you can get the car off the ground.
Yeah.
So every small piece of this car has been 10 times more than what we thought was going to be from.
So is it $1 million?
Yeah,
It's got to be $1 million.
it will be when it's all
Yeah, it's got to be.
twin turbo.
There's
and
no
everything.
fucking way
Yeah.
it's not $1 million.
But what else? So that's what
Wow.
he said. He goes, what else am I going to buy that will outperform it? Have more of a unique characteristic. I mean, he can 800.
Koenigsegg. I mean, I don't know.
But where? I mean, not
I
at
don't know.
Nürburgring. I mean, that thing generates.
Is he going to the Nürburgring with that?
He wants to. That thing will generate 1,500 pounds of downforce at 130 miles an hour, and I mean it's
Whoa.
For what?
and we could trim it. We could trim it up or down from there.
Yeah.
The whole under tray is like as smooth as this table.
Okay, so more questions. Right now, it's got a stock engine that works great. I'm
Yeah.
sure, like it's a turnkey, turns on all the time, super reliable.
Yeah.
When you go TT, is it pushing the limit of that street car thing where now it's gonna be a little more finicky? I mean, you build really reliable stuff, like as we've proven in Palm Springs with that white car. But like, is he? I'm trying to figure out, like, is he just going so extreme and just keeps going more
No,
and
that's
more
why
and
we're
more
capping
and
it
getting
between.
away?
That's why
Okay.
we're capping it between 800 and 900 horse. Anything after that, the transmissions start getting finicky.
Is it PDK?
Yeah, it's PDK. So
Can a PDK handle that
yeah,
at this point?
we're doing cars making about 1,100 wheel through the PDK.
Really?
Heavily modified PDK. All the
But you're
software.
not doing big launches in them, right? They
Yeah.
are?
Yeah.
All-wheel drive or
All-wheel
rear-wheel drive?
All-wheel
Really?
drive.
And they're holding up?
Anything more than that, you break the transmission housing.
But you're doing upgraded clutches and shit?
Upgraded clutches.
Okay, all right. So it's not a
billet
stock PDK.
pieces on it. Yeah.
Oh, fucking
Yeah.
people are crazy. Rich people are fucking crazy. They have too much money.
Another insane build we're doing. I don't know if you saw the RWB build where
The one you've been working on for like a year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My customer reminds me.
I haven't
every day.
seen it. I saw it in pieces on your lift. I haven't seen it done. Is it done?
It's getting close. And that car is also another technical exercise that's bananas.
It's like a 993?
It's a 993. We put all 997 GT3R knuckles on it and then made all of our own control arms to get, to revise all the geometry. Mm-hmm. And instead of just
because we talked about this with Scotto. Scotto was in here last night. Maybe you heard, and because we were talking about how with an RWB car, his was started as a turbo, so it made it a lot easier to do the RWB kit without fucking all the geometries up.
Right.
Most people fuck the geometries all up.
Right, exactly. So what we ended up doing is even before we cut the fenders, when Nakai came over and did the whole treatment, the brake calipers stuck outside of the original fenders by like an inch and a half on each side. So
Well, that's like my Mustang.
Yeah, exactly. Same gig.
Yeah.
So it's it's done right. You get longer control arms. You get all kinds of fun stuff. So.
Is this it, the silver car?
Yeah.
Okay.
It does look cool. I saw it when it was sitting there. It looked fucking rad.
And it's going to perform. That's the biggest thing. It has to go and do how it looks, right?
Yeah.
It can't be dainty. You have to be able to hammer on it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. Like, there's some RWB cars that the look is justified. They're like race cars and they handle well, and I think they look awesome, but they got to be able to back it up.
Exactly.
And Scott was like, my car got safer once we RWB'd and wide stanced it, because that's what they used to do with the race cars, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
and
70s,
Scotto's car, we've seen it at the shop quite a bit. And I went out, and after we kind of set it up and did some work to it, I went out and kind of drove it hard and had a really good time in it. It was not sketchy. It just drove really well. And it was fun to push a little bit, whereas some of them, you're like, I don't know. So
I've driven a couple of Porsches where they're a little hairy, but some are. I mean, fucking Joey's was excellent,
Yep.
and some of the nicely set up Porsche ones. Tate from Atlanta, Tate Askew.
I haven't met him.
He runs RWB Atlanta and he's a bunch of Porsche shit in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And he had like an Andile turbo that was fucking so rowdy that had an old Zwart motor in it.
Yes.
And it was so great. And who are those guys in fucking Long Island? The G Program guys. You know those guys? The G Program guys?
Oh, yeah, right.
They built some nice cars
Yeah,
too.
absolutely.
That one I drove of theirs was really good too.
That's cool.
Chris Harris keeps talking about the DLS Singer thing, which looks pretty fucking good.
Have you heard that engine, like the in-car?
Not in person.
No, I haven't either.
Just on video.
Yeah, I've just been stalking all Chris's stuff.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It sounds every bit of all the power they're saying it makes.
I'm sure it does,
Yeah.
but to make that power is so expensive. I mean, that engine, it's got to be. There you go.
Listen to the thing.
It's a $250,000 engine,
exactly.
right? Easy.
Yeah, easy $250,000. Find the one where he's at Goodwood going up the hill. That's where it kind of I go okay, this thing's serious.
Oh, it sounds so rowdy, but
it is a $250,000 engine.
It's a $250,000. I mean, the diminishing returns, right? Like, how close could you get to that for any kind of reasonable amount of money? Not, right? Just not close.
It's everything. You have to do everything. Anything that air passes through, you have to touch.
Yeah.
I mean, and in a serious manner. I mean,
well, because it's the four cams, right? That's really the thing.
Yeah, 4 cams. But you know what's cool? And I don't know much about it. I've just been watching it and looking at it. They commissioned Williams to do a lot of that, and they ended up having such a non-traditional style airbox where everybody else is following a typical shape that Porsche kind of launched, and they just went complete
They're sort of
opposite.
replicating Porsche's race cars,
Right,
but
right.
But these guys, what is the difference with theirs?
They went big, massive volume and low short runners. They wanted all the big top end power, and I mean, you can tell. I mean, the runners on the headers, like they look like 2.25 inch coming out of those things, and you could tell that this thing was. They were doing everything they could to get that power out of it.
Well, for that kind of money, God bless. I just saw Maz the other day, and he seems very excited about it.
Yeah.
I have to fucking get him on the show. He seems so busy. He's got kids and shit. But it looks really gnarly. Really fucking gnarly.
Have you seen it? Oh, you saw it. Yeah. Obviously in person. And
I have not. I've not seen it in person.
Oh, really?
Not the DLS, no. There hasn't been one in America.
Yeah.
Oh, at Pebble? I didn't go to Pebble.
Not at Pebble. It was at it probably was there.
It was at Pebble. Oh, at Rensport?
Rensport,
Was
yeah.
there one at Rensport?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't get to go to Rensport.
Yeah, Michelin. brought
Oh
one
yeah.
down.
It was on a stage though. I don't think it ran.
No, it didn't
Right.
run, but yeah, I crawled all over that.
The
thing.
pictures of it look incredible. I mean, the detail work in the carbon fiber and stuff was wild.
Yeah.
Why does the runner length determine the power band? I'm trying to find that clip from Chris, but
Yeah. So you can. Like, let's say you do a long tube header. Let's talk about exhaust. You do a long tube header or a short tube header. You have reverb and pulses that happen every time an exhaust valve closes or every time you have a compression pulse leaving. You can tune how long it takes to get to the collector, and its reverb pulse comes back. And it technically, what you should have is when the valve is closed, right after overlap, as soon as that valve starts to open again, that pulse needs to be bouncing back off of it and heading back out the tailpipe, creating a low pressure zone behind it, which is scavenging. And you get that through all the cylinders doing that at the same time. So as one cylinder fires, it's creating a low pressure zone behind it as it propagates the open area of the collector. And then it's theoretically, if it's tuned right, you could pull it through. So you could tune your power band by timing those pulses. You can screw it up, you could change, and with that, then you're going to want to do cam overlap and cam timing to really take full advantage of it. And you'll hear So the first time I heard this, I used to street race when I was like 16, and I heard this the 68 Camaro that I worked at a Texaco gas station, and he was hauling ass like at us, and I heard this thing like like Crown Vics make all that induction noise, like I heard that going on, and so then I was like, damn, why doesn't my Mustang do that? And I had like $140 hooker headers that I lobbed off and put the biggest exhaust I could. So I started kind of looking into that and why it does it, and I still fully don't understand all of it, but.
It's because it's when it's timed right. We talked to what's his name from Magnaflow. Oh, his name's escaping me.
Richard
Whitus. Yeah, he did engineered after you did it, talking just 12 minutes or 14 minutes about exhaust and like the pulsing and timing it and scavenging, and it was fascinating stuff. It's
bananas.
It's its own science.
So it happens in the intake manifold.
It works
also.
on both ends.
Yeah.
Right?
So and you'll see a lot of intake manifolds with flaps and everything like that. You can tune the reverb. When I worked at Porsche, when we do an RSR intake manifold with individual throttles on like a Daytona prototype or the RSRs back then, you would measure volumetric efficiency through the engine, and you can change. So it has a calculated range, and typically on an NA engine, if you're at 100% VE, you're doing all the right work. These things were making between 107 and 114, so it's almost making cylinder pressure because of the reverbs.
It's almost like
amazing.
supercharging because of the reverb.
Exactly. So you have the low pressure zone behind the exhaust valve that's helping scavenging, and it's completely clearing unburnt gases out of the combustion chamber, and you have a pressure pulse on the intake side that came over from the other bank. And
wow. So if you were to just slightly shorten or slightly lengthen, it's almost like having an out of tune guitar string and then it being in tune, like that kind of thing, where it can like fuck it up, and then all of a sudden you find the balance where it's like,
Yeah, exactly. And all things mechanical have a peak operating point where they work most efficient. So that's why people are putting valves in and having variable this, variable that to broaden that range.
Yeah. Neat.
So, yeah, it's a lot. I mean,
we couldn't find that video on Harris's fucking thing.
There's so
but
many
it might be on
pieces to
Singer's.
tuning an engine. That's crazy.
yeah, there's a lot. And I'm not even, what they did with that Singer engine, they really, it looked like they really just threw whatever they knew or whatever we all know about Porsche engines out of the box and restudied it.
It's real crazy that a market for that car exists. Like someone went, like more than one person went to a regular 4-liter Singer and said, what if you had unlimited money?
Yeah.
And, oh, by the way, here's unlimited money.
Yeah, so go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what is that car going to go for?
$2 million.
$2 million.
I think it's 1.8 or something like that. And then what's going to happen is everyone, all 75 people or whatever are going to fight each other for them, and the fucking Arabs are going to be all over it.
Fuck.
And even Maz was like, here's what's going to happen. We're going to build the 75. You'll see 6 at track days, and you'll see 69 of them will go into warehouses, and you'll never see them again.
Yeah. And you'll pop up at like an auction every once in a
Yeah, and they'll sell in 50 years for, $4 million or whatever. Speaking of which, you see the fucking gold 993? That is a waste of money. So here's a 993 that you can't drive on the street for 4. Meanwhile, you could buy a 5,000-mile 993 from 98.
Yep.
The most perfect one around for, 10% of that?
Yeah, absolutely.
$300,000 will get you the nicest or actual 993 turbo in the world. The nicest. Yeah. And you can drive it on the street if you want to.
And then what are you going to do with your $2.7 million that you have left over?
Fucking
right.
Anything you
All
want.
of it.
Anything you like.
Yeah.
A yacht. A 993 that you could crane onto the back of a yacht.
I'd have that in my yacht, craned in by a helicopter.
Yeah.
Something. Maybe not that much.
Although, Zach, can you fucking full screen that window? Because it looks wonky as shit off to the side like that. But I will admit this. I like the color. I like fun colors, and that is a fun color.
I walked by it at night at Rennsport, and it looked really good in like soft light, not like dark. I am an asshole, but not in this moment. But it was really cool looking. And then when you see it in full sun, I feel like it's a little
hot.
It's
well,
gold.
almost no cars look good at noon. It's very little to find very rare to find any car that looks good at noon. My car looks like, my color on my car is fucking stunning in person. Mm-hmm. At noon, it's terrible. Yeah. Really terrible. Right now, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, like sitting in the parking lot outside.
Striking.
Wow, it's spectacular.
Yep. Yeah.
But at noon, it's not good.
Yeah.
That's why I got it cheap.
Yeah.
That's why I got it the right price.
You bought it at noon.
Dude, I was just up in Malibu with the Porsche boys.
Yep.
A woman The day before I was there, a woman rolled up in an 87 Carrera, just like mine, Cassis red, just like mine, had 7,000 miles on it. And she had just bought it for, you want to guess the number? 7,000 mile 87 Carrera, otherwise completely stock, slope ass, not a wing.
46.
Guess again.
I'm gonna say 70 and change.
75.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
7,000 miles though. 7,000 miles.
That's
yeah, 75.
Why.
yeah,
That's why.
Yep. It's a good. Honestly, I think it's a good buy. Actually,
First off, good for her, right?
yeah, right.
Like,
good for that woman. Great taste in cars.
Yeah.
and very low miles. It's a collector's item. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, man.
So back to that 993 that Porsche did. I think that was just a technical exercise and kind of like for all of the people too, like the singers and the this.
Yeah.
And that. I think that was just like, oh, by the way, guys, we're
It was a great. It was a great financial exercise.
Yeah, check this out.
Well,
we're
don't
gonna,
you
we're
think
gonna
that-
tool up and open the factory back up and
Don't you
Yeah.
think they just wanted to demonstrate because it was built from parts,
Right.
So I think they wanted to demonstrate that we have every part.
and they're starting to rebuild a lot.
Did you see they just fucking set up some display somewhere with 10 986 Boxsters that they fucking built?
Damn it!
Like, who gives a fuck about those?
no offense, just let them die, man.
Let them die.
Let them go.
Those cars aren't good.
no.
I mean,
Although I had one and I had a blast in it, and I used that as a loaner car at BBI, and people drop their GT3 off, and I give them the Boxer with Frankie's
pull
dog
around
hair.
the loaner.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember the mask?
Oh yeah,
He's like, bring out the, loaner.
Yeah, yeah, and then so they'd get out of it like, holy shit, this car's handles good. It's a lot of fun. It's safe and because
Yeah.
it makes 4.5 horsepower.
Yeah.
And I got all the suspension
It's great.
on it.
Oh, by the way, an oil change is $700.
Right.
And you have to pull the motor out. I did see they built for the same auction where they sold this gold thing. They had a green Carrera GT. They did that they restored. I mean, can you believe the car's fucking 7 years old, 8 years old?
Yeah.
I guess actually it's 10 at this point.
10,
but
10, 11.
But we need to fully restore Carrera GTs at 10 years old.
Yeah, but it's weird because we've been doing a lot of Carrera GTs at the shop and I caught myself saying we're restoring it because you take every single part off, right?
What's involved in restoring a Carrera GT?
A
lot?
as deep as you want to go, but
Look at that color. That is a fucking phenomenal
That's
color.
awesome.
I bet that looks good at noon.
Yeah,
That green is absolutely stunning. Do they say what they call it? I don't know if they said, but fuck me, that looks great.
yeah, that's rad.
With the gold wheels, that is a hot color, bro.
That is
all about that.
Really gorgeous car.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Carrera GTs didn't come in good enough colors, if
No,
I'm honest.
no, very muted,
Boring
right?
colors, yeah.
Yeah, and they
Anyway,
Anyway,
Does it say what color it is? If you can find
it is spectacular.
Oak green metallic.
oak green. Oh, I just saw someone had a new GT3 Touring in oak green, and it
nice.
looks great. That's really, really nice, man.
Look at that
Wait,
gold-
so what do you
gold
do when
intake
you restore
manifold.
one of these things, Betim? Sorry.
Well, it's not really restoring. I mean, you have to take half the damn car apart just to work on it. So you're not going to put the part back dirty, and you're going to probably just replace the hardware while you're going back in, and just to take the under trays off, there's like 86 pieces of little 6 millimeter,
Yeah.
So you kind of, you're like, it's just kind of a shame to put all and somebody touched it before, so it rusted a little bit. So
What does an oil change on a fucking Carrera GT cost?
honestly, like $1,100.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Because you have to take off all the under trays and the labor involved?
Yeah, just to get it on the rack, you have to take these little access panels off, and we machined these blocks that sit on that clip into our rack, and then the under trays come off, and then you have like 7 drain plugs because it's a dry sump V block or V10, but between every main, there's a drain plug there because literally you're looking at the main bolts going through the oil pan, and there's no like oil pan. I mean the pan.
There's no like low part of it. It's all like flat across.
Yeah, the pan itself is the cradle, the main cradle.
Yeah.
So it's one big girdle, and so you.
Oh, and isn't the engine part of the chassis in that car? Kind of.
No, the chassis can be on its own. The engine's just tied in really, really well, especially in the rear. The front, I mean, it's kind of. I mean, if I had to say, it's kind of like hanging kind of like a Boxster would, a mid-engine car. You have the center mount in the front that does fore and aft, that controls fore and aft movement, and then the rear you have this long bar that holds the backside of the transmission up, and that does lateral.
Oh.
So the Carrera GT and the Boxster are the same, is what you're saying?
Identically.
Same
Betim
maintenance
from
cost.
BBI
Stamp it.
Autosport.
Yep.
Have they settled? Are they still like in the 700s?
They for a a proper nice one, they're still asking for like the mid sevens.
Sevens.
Yeah.
Fuck.
They're beautiful.
One of those cars at 350 grand would have been the smartest buy fucking ever a year before the 918 came out.
Yeah, and
918 comes out and fucking Carrera GTs double overnight.
They were 275 when you and I met back in the day. You know, they were 275.
I mean, it's still so much money, but like, god damn it, that would have been
it's going to be $1 million car
buy.
soon, by the way.
It will.
Yeah.
They're going to be $1 million cars.
They're
Stick
really
shift,
special looking.
V10.
And they're so much fun to drive.
I drove one once for 10 minutes and it was absolutely spectacular.
100%.
It was spectacular. It was so nice. I fucking love those cars so much. That would have been a good buy.
How lucky are we? That Carrera GT drove awesome. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
People talk shit about the clutches too, but I think they're full of shit. I like that clutch, actually. I think it's fun.
I think it's great.
It's a neat clutch.
Yeah, the trick is just don't touch the gas when you're leaving a light.
Yeah.
Just let it off.
Just like the Ford Focus RS.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Focus has the auto start.
They're the same car.
Yeah.
So you can exactly. Yeah. I sold
Matt
that
first,
car.
that's-
Focus
You did?
goes on a truck tonight.
Oh.
Bye.
So no more Fords.
Yeah, Fords are gone. I should put the Ford racing flag in with the Focus for the new owner. Yeah.
Yeah.
No more Fords. My garage is going to look hilarious next week.
You're a good Jew.
Hilarious. With
So-
the fucking Benz, the Safari car, and the Countach, it's going to look hilarious.
So
in
have
there.
you got the Countach yet?
Tuesday.
You get it
Tuesday, I get it. A couple small things have come up. I bought it mid-service.
Right.
People are tired of hearing about this, and a couple small things have come up, and they haven't been big, expensive problems. But there's no part on this car that it doesn't take 3 fucking weeks to get.
Of course.
So the good thing about it is that I have ended up with Valentino Balboni's phone number.
Really?
Yeah, he actually has a Countach parts supplier.
That's rad.
Yeah, so I'm like texting back and forth with Valentino, and he's like, "No problem, Matt." He's like so jubilant. He's like, "I look for you." My accent is so bad, but I was like, "Oh, next time you're in LA, let's go for a drive." I was like, "Come to think of it, I'm certain you've already driven this car." Yes, probably when it was new. Yes,
Right.
My Italian really needs some work.
I get the picture.
It's very fucking pretty though. That's it.
God, look at that thing.
It's very, very sexy, and it is so loud.
Is it?
Yeah, it has a period Albertoni exhaust
that's
on
what
it
you were
with
saying.
no
That's
cats.
right.
It's
That's so
fucking
badass.
loud. Speaking of which, quick question, off topic. I have the stock exhaust, just like sitting at my house.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a little rusty, corroded. It hasn't been on the car since the fucking late '80s. I mean, I think it was taken off practically when it was new.
Right.
Can I like have it media blasted and chromed and done something neat with it for any kind of reasonable amount of money?
Yeah, there's some pretty cool surface finishing that you can do that bring out the metal. That it doesn't take away. Like if you chrome it, or I think if you chrome it or polish it or ceramic coat it, it takes away. You know, it looks too monochromatic.
Yeah.
There's some tumbling processes that really make the metal look really like it just brings it all out. So I'll send you some
send me
of that.
the guy. Like,
Yeah.
I want to like hang it on the wall or do something interesting because it's a really neat like piece of metal, but it's just not very pretty right now.
I
It
think
could
it'd
be.
rad.
It
Yeah.
could be
I have
pretty.
a Carrera GT system. It's not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Andrews, but it's just sitting there. I kind of want to do the same thing with it.
Yeah.
Just have it in the front showroom.
Yeah.
You need a big media blaster, right?
Yeah, there's one process called vapor honing where it's media suspended in water or some sort of, and that puts a really nice finish on it. But it kind of mutes it out a little too much. But I'm thinking of a tumbling process with different media that kind of
Interesting.
Yeah.
So a little more varied. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
I would definitely fuck with that because it's too cool to just like stick in a closet somewhere,
Right.
but it's not pretty enough right now to display.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of artwork for the new place.
I think
we
it'd be great.
We need to get
That'd
going.
be perfect.
What else you been working on? The RWB thing. You got the thing. How do you like how my car turned out? You built the motor for that.
Awesome.
It's fucking pretty rad, right?
Yeah, that thing looks great.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see you pound that thing off road.
It is really fucking. I hit one trail that you can see in the video I did. Like, there's one little trail right here, and it was better even than I expected it to be. Like, there's a lot of travel there, and it's just great. Here's the clip of me turning onto the even on the road. The thing I like about this thing, like this is just in Playa del Rey. That goes like around. But even on the road, like when people see it, they do double takes and smile and laugh, and it's total. The best thing about it is, like, as far as Porsches go, it's like a pink off-road Porsche is like the least pretentious Porsche you could have. I think.
Yeah, it's a lifted 911.
Yeah.
and it's pinkish.
And people are just like, wait, what the fuck is that? And like, what's going on
You know
here?
what? Yeah, it's true. In a sea of slammed flat black, look how big my dick is, but it's not. But don't ask me to take my,
And it's-
Van Hardy pants down. It's like pink lifted doesn't make any sense to most people. But
And
it's great.
like everything I liked about my old Raptor is present in this. Like everything I liked about the Raptor, like the way it took bumps and all that stuff, like that's all here. And then everything I like about air-cooled Porsches is also here.
I've never driven a Lee car. I can't wait to.
Oh, you should drive mine for sure.
I'm gonna.
It's
sure.
He really does a thorough and complete job. Like he delivered the car back and like it's done.
Yeah.
Like it feels
Awesome.
fucking done. Like it's great. We have to figure out this oil burning issue though.
Yeah, we got to.
It's burning a little bit of oil right now, which is concerning to me. You guys didn't do a bottom end rebuild, right?
No.
So
we did basically a reseal on it. So
it would really bum me out if I immediately have to do a bottom end rebuild right now. I really hope we don't.
it'd bummed me out because we finally got the thing stopped leaking oil. That's.
Oh, was it leaking?
It's sweating. Air cooled 911s sweat.
Yeah.
They always do. When you get one that you drive around a little bit and there's nothing there, you're like, don't even look at the thing. Don't even touch it.
Well, it's weird because it's like inconsistently doing it. Like,
It might be
depends
something coming through a breather, dropping into the intake,
Maybe.
and giving you puffs. That's why I said just bring it to the shop. We'll just go through it.
It's running really good. Like
Right.
it's strong. It's pulling. It's idling smooth. It's pulling. The power is great. Like I have no complaints about how the engine feels.
Mm-hmm.
But in a couple situations, specifically when I'm driving, I'm moving, and then I come to a complete stop. The engine returns to idle, and then right then I just get a little puff of blue smoke right then.
Yeah, D-cell park, and maybe it is happening, but you're driving, you're not seeing it.
Maybe.
We'll have a look at it.
I don't know,
Don't
but
lose sleep yet.
it's not going to like break though, right?
Just
It's
keep
okay.
oiling
Just
it.
keep oiling it.
Yeah.
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 That oil's not cheap.
No, I brought you 3.
Did you?
Yeah.
Thanks.
I feel bad for you.
Yeah, no, look, it's a fucking old car. We'll figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
But the important things are done. The important things like a engine rebuild.
Yep.
Worst case scenario, it goes in the shop. I've got a Countach to drive.
No, worst
To
case
daily
scenario,
pour,
you just
Matt.
pour more oil in.
in it
Yeah.
until it's time to do something else.
Until it doesn't hold the oil anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the move.
Yeah.
I just feel
Drive
guilty
this
driving around LA with.
Hey, come on, it's catless. You don't
Sure,
care. All
good
your
point.
cars are catless,
But
right?
when you can't see it, it's different when you can
Yeah.
see it.
It's like rolling coal
No.
through
I gotta-
like Melrose
Whenever
Place
I
or
sit
something.
behind you and you idle, or you, Kamisa, anyone who runs catalyst, I'm like, that's why we have catalytic converters.
When we
Yeah.
when I was driving the Lexus around LA, right? I got a letter in the mail. Someone reported it to the fucking EPA. Like I got a letter from the EPA that was like, it's been reported that this car like smells like burning oil.
Wow.
You offended somebody that heavily. That's awesome. They
called the fucking EPA.
I'm gonna get him.
Update on that car, it is at 996,000 miles.
Holy shit.
And you know how it kept fucking so
What
so
is
I
this,
had
5 years in now?
2018. So the end of December will be 4 years, yeah. So the first trip I ever went on with Hannah, with my now fiance, we went to Hawaii for my birthday. While I was in Hawaii, I bought it on Craigslist from Hawaii. And I go, baby, we need to go from here in fucking Hawaii to Florida to then drive the car home. That was the extension of our first trip together ever, wherein I bought a shitty car in Florida and we drove it across the country sight unseen. And she goes, I'll do this with you, but if the car breaks down, you're flying me home from wherever we are and you can stay and fucking deal with it. It didn't break down, we got home, but
She's
if
a
the
keeper.
car hits, the goal is I now have a goal, which is for the car to hit 1 million before we get married on April 20th, because that's like the life of this car. With us is the
Number one goal was this, and then she was the first trip.
Yeah,
Awesome. I love it.
So it looks like it's probably gonna happen. But get this, we've fucking launched about 3 power steering pumps, and the power steering pump because the car is quote reliable. The engine is the engine will be here with the cockroaches at the end.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean we haven't put a fuckload of money into this car.
Yeah.
I have put 20 grand probably into this car.
You're a $1,900 car.
$1,200 car.
Oh.
But the same shit keeps happening, which is that the power steering pump leaks onto the alternator, which is right below it, and it takes them both out. That's happened a bunch of times.
So what kind of, are you just buying junkyard pumps or are these new?
I've had it rebuilt a bunch of times. I got new pumps, but here's what I figured out why this keeps fucking happening. It's because the power steering system doesn't use power steering fluid.
Oh, so you guys
it uses ATF.
Yes. You're gonna your seals will swell and then they fail.
The people who borrow the car don't know this. The steering starts to get heavy. They add power steering fluid, which completely launches the seals, and then it ruins everything. The dude who's got the car is like, yeah, I had to put ATF in it. I was like, what do you mean ATF? He's like, it needs ATF. I was like,
it also now needs.
Oh.
Yeah.
So,
wait,
yeah.
why does one cause swelling and one doesn't?
There's, I don't know technically, but so Porsches.
Then why are you here?
Sorry, technically, they swell because they don't like each other. No, but one of the fluids, it's like Porsche has what's called Pentacin that runs through the power steering and everything like that. And on turbo cars, it also, from the power steering pump, has an extra line that goes to the clutch slave cylinder as an assist. So it runs all power steering fluid basically through it. And then when you convert it for like a GT2 or a GT3, they're not power assisted. So those run brake fluid. All I know is that I took
They run brake fluid?
Yeah.
Weird.
Like .4 brake fluid as the clutch.
Oh, yeah. Actually, the Cobra's like that.
Yeah, right?
Okay.
I mean, most cars are.
Clutch fluid and brake fluid are the same thing?
They should be.
That's I know that because I got it in my eye and it hurt like a motherfucker because underneath the car.
Yeah, that's not a good one.
Nope.
I got a lot of brake fluid in my eye at one time. That's a story for another time, by the way. So I put the seals in each one of them.
I think this is what that.
So does like power steering fluid not expand under heat as much as ATF or vice versa? Like,
I think there's some there's some fire suppression stuff in there that won't, or anti-smoking.
Anti-inflammatory?
Yeah.
Anti-smoking is a campaign.
Yeah, anti-inflammatory. It's like ibuprofen inside of the power
It's
steering
got
fluid.
Advil.
Yeah, it's got Advil.
ATF.
Like
an
they have a
Advil
picture of a
transmission
car.
powder.
Yes, and that
picture of a car
swells.
and there's just red glowing spots on it. Just pour it in.
But I don't know enough about the power steering fluid.
Okay.
But I just know one fucks the seals up and one doesn't.
Gotcha.
So,
what about what else is happening at the shop? Anything fun?
I mean, we're growing, but some challenges. We lost two good people. Fucking Celine hired one of my good techs away.
Celine?
Yeah.
What are you serious?
Yeah.
They're hiring people?
Don't get me started. So, anyways, the
I
funny
saw
part,
one of their Teslas on the street. I shit you not. I saw one of those Celine Teslas parked on the street in Venice. I almost fucking flipped a bitch and turned around
I gotta take a picture.
prove one existed.
Yeah. So they're building a new car right now. I think they're owned by a Chinese company that's owned by the Chinese government.
Well, look at that picture of the Mustang in the middle. That looks like a Chinese government car right there. The Bullet Mustang with whatever the fuck that is on it.
There it is.
Yep. Something tells me that is built by someone owned by the Chinese. Yep.
So the funny part is,
pull that over, Zach. The Fast and the Furious is fucking back, bro. That's a Bullet Mustang too. Jesus Christ,
man.
For those who are just listening to the audio version, think of the Fast and Furious 1 graphics and think of a brand new Bullet Mustang with them on it. That's pretty much what you've got there.
Yeah, you got pinks and blues on a Bullet Mustang.
That is ribbons and horses.
Well, I think it's for breast cancer awareness. It says hope.
Oh, now you feel.
But
shit. Now I feel dumb.
It still looks.
Not really. That looks stupid. Bad. I don't care what charity's for. That looks dumb as fuck.
money spent on that could have gone to charity.
I can't believe you lost an employee to them.
Right. So they hit him pretty hard with a big chunk of money.
No, he'll be back in a year. Don't worry.
He's such a good dude. The last thing I want to do is, but I did tell him that I'll see you in a year.
Mm-hmm.
But so I met Steve Celine for the first time at SEMA. And he was bopping around the Ultima booth, and Tanner Faust goes, "Hey, Betim, come over here, meet Steve Celine." And I was like, "Oh, hey, nice to meet you. Cool." He was like, "Oh, what do you do?" I go, "I modify Porsches, Huntington Beach." He goes, "Oh yeah, I think I've heard of you guys." I go, "Yeah, you just stole one of my best employees." Cool. Or not a senior employee, right? I was like, "Cool." And he literally looked at me like I was kidding, and like that uncomfortable. I just looked at him straight faced.
Oh, is it to work on this thing? To work on whatever this fucking thing is that he's got? What's it called? The S1?
S1, yeah.
Is that an actual car?
Dude.
Is it based on a thing?
I don't know what it's based on.
It looks
I think it's... I don't know. I know nothing about it.
It looks mid-engine. I don't know. The front lights look a little bit like
four-cylinder
California Lotus.
What is it? Yeah. 4-cylinder.
I don't know what it is.
Anyways,
That's a shame.
So that's that.
Sorry to hear that.
yeah. So I'm on the hunt for some techs, and I put a post up last night, or Dimitri did, and
Got any good responses?
yeah, actually, dude, a lot of good responses.
Someone asked us last night. They want to work in the industry. Fucking hit up Betim if you're listening. He's hiring.
Yeah, we're hiring. Work at BBI
Is it hard? Is it really hard to find good people? Because you do pretty high level stuff.
We do. So, you know what I've been doing lately? So, I've been hiring younger, super driven, enthusiastic, passionate guys and girls who just want to kill it. And I can teach a skill set. I can teach, like, you know, I what we were doing earlier is we put them on a 90-day kind of like a trial
Probationary period, right.
Yeah, but they'd go spend 30 days on the chassis. They'd spend 30 days with Jared in the engine room. They'd spend 30 days with Tony. You know, they would do that. And then those techs would tell me where they think that person best fit. And that was working out pretty well. But then now I've lost a couple senior guys. So now I've got I got Ben and Bobby. Those two guys are young. They're friends with each other, and they are badass. They're having a lot of fun. They're killing it. They're learning fast.
I'm really nervous about with my garage, like hiring a staff. Like I've never like had a staff or really had a corporate structure. I'm fucking nervous about all that.
We can go to therapy together once you.
No,
figure
when
that
you like
out.
when you were when you were starting like back in the day, like did you ever like when you opened your business, were you like, I have no idea what I'm doing right now. How the fuck is this ever gonna work?
You want to rewind to back when we first kind of met?
Sure.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So I worked for Porsche Motorsport. It was awesome. Traveled all over the world. Went to Le Mans. Did all the fun stuff with the corporate. But for some reason, I had this twisted fantasy of starting my own shop one day. Ended up doing that. Sure. I still have a little bit in there.
Why not top it off
right,
now?
There you go. Thank you. Ended up starting BBI, and I was just telling the story today. It was so funny that how naive and I think it was how naive I was when I started. I'm like, okay, well, I'm a good tech. I know a lot about Porsches. I've got a pretty good grasp on what's happening here. Let's start a shop. And then I found myself the next day at Home Depot buying a mop bucket and a broom. And I was like, fuck, I'm not doing anything that made me good at what I do. You know, and when they tell you in school, when you're learning in school and high school and shit, and you're like, when am I ever going to fucking use this? Like, you know, and you go to sleep or you start drawing pictures of trucks going through mud or whatever you do. That completely like, fuck, I wish I would have paid attention to that. So it's been 10 arduous, getting kicked in the dick years of just hard lessons, you know? But I wouldn't trade it for anything. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And it's just been, and I'm still learning, man. You know, so to answer your question about employees, I was like, I'll call my friends up. We'll all work together. That'd be great, you know? So
I'm reading this book right now called the E-Myth. Have you read that book?
After I was complaining about this to my friend up in Seattle, because I moved from Seattle to kind of chase my dreams, and he sent me that book, and he goes, hey, idiot, you need to read this book.
Yeah.
I was like, I wish I would have read it before I started my business, but it is a brilliant.
I'm about halfway through right now. My physical therapist sent it to me. He just opened his own place.
It's just so simple and such a good read.
Yeah,
and
I'm very excited
and you
about
know
it,
what?
actually.
And even now, I'll refer back to it just every once in a while, just to read that, and it's very... God, it's just so simple, and you're like, why? You get caught in your tornado, and everything around you. So,
because you're the technician, right? You're the technician, but you know it's about being the balance between the technician, the entrepreneur, and the manager, and how to like be all of those things. I recommend that book to the E-Myth. It's called. If you ever want to start your own business, read that shit first.
100%, absolute must read.
So, what were some of like the biggest kicks in the dick?
Well, so early on, I had this small storage unit in Huntington Beach. It was like I just had a roll-up door. BBI just started. My first car I ever worked on was like a Cadillac Escalade for my buddy that we lowered and put 24s on it. You know, I needed the $400 so I could buy some paint and paint the walls. And anyway, so we were starting to build that, and then Joey and I were friends for a long, long time prior to that. We raced together. He worked for Peterson White Lightning. I was working for Porsche Motorsport. Yes, there it is. That is. So I'm the guy in the white dealie right there, and then that is life there. That is called being a business owner right there. And
the sound of that is
yeah. But you know what? That guy's, the guy in the white's doing like, all right, that was cool. I'll take another one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
You'll be back tomorrow, right?
He's got a dream.
Yeah. I'll be here at 3. Yes. And so Joey was working for a race team, and I called him up. I'm like, hey, dude, I did it. we're starting a business. I want you to come down here, help me out. Let's do this. 50-50. Let's fucking do it. Let's just crush it. You do the back, I do the front, because the E-Myth was kind of, I had to pick what I was really good at, and I could sell shit, and I can engineer things. And, and I know Joey is a good chassis engineer, and he knows his way around the shop really well. And he's also a well-spoken dude as well. So I was like, fuck, let's team up. And then we did some work for Brabus, actually, because I'd always go in there and just admire the shop. I didn't have any work. I was like, fuck, I'll go look at cool shops that I like. And I said, one day I want a cool ass shop like this. I want to have something that's presentable. I want to have a shop that people take seriously. So, so they're like, hey, you want to build us an exhaust? Sure, let's do it. The owner of that car, his name was Jeff. He ended up loving what we did. And the guy said, I just want to meet the dudes who did this. So he came over and met Joey and I. And he looked at my shop and he was like, what the fuck is this? You put my car in here? Because
your shop was like a shithole.
No bathroom.
Yeah.
No front door. It was a roll-up door. At the time, I think we had one lift, and there was we had power then too. But I used the phone from my neighbor's shop. He basically rented me his storage unit, so I could, for $2,000 a month, so I can get a business going. And so this guy Jeff comes along, and he's like, I like what you guys do, but this is a shithole. And I was like, well, I'm looking for investors, so I could take it to the next level. Oh, that's cool. I gave him my deck, which was like basically drawing on a piece of paper with crayons. and I go, and I saw him looking at it, and he's like, he kind of smirked a little bit. It was super cool guy, super nice guy. And I go, well, maybe those are just kind of talking points. He goes, no, they're not even talking points, man. So he goes, I gotta leave after. Let's cut this meeting short because I got some buildings to look at. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, nice. And he goes, no, you guys are coming. So that's the building that you met us.
That's the original building. Yeah,
he bought that building. And
he bought that building?
Yeah. So
I didn't realize he owned it.
So this is the real story about the inception and the momentum of BBI. So he bought the building under a different business, and BBI was going to rent from him. Well, he didn't charge us rent for a long time.
That helps.
And so what he said, he goes, but Tim, you don't know shit about business. You're really good at what you do. Joey, you don't know shit about business. You're good at what you do. How about this? I'm going to buy the BBI name from you guys for nothing. I'm going to make sure you make a salary. And you guys are going to buy it back from me in 5 years after you learn how to run a business, but you need to prove it to me. So I was like, fuck, okay.
Wow, it's like you found a dad by making an exhaust.
Seriously.
That's like almost sheer luck, but not quite. Like, because you were ready. Like, you did the work, and the right person saw it, and you were ready when they did, but it's a healthy dose of luck.
I lived in my Volkswagen like 3 months before that. It's like I was living in my Volkswagen in Huntington Beach State Park.
Yeah.
So it's like there was... but I didn't give a shit. It was just so much fun. All I wanted to do is chase my dream, and I didn't fucking care what it took to get there, And then he came along 2 years later. So I started in 2006, and then 2008, here he is, right? And then, so we incorporated, blah, 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 did the whole thing. I remember the first time we turned a profit. He owned a bunch of escrow companies. The first time we turned a profit, he came fucking so happy. He was like, you guys are doing it. You guys have what it takes.
How long? How many years was that?
This was 3 years.
Okay.
So this was after he's like, I'm not putting a fucking penny. I remember we had to borrow $9,000 from him for something, and he was so pissed. He was just like, he was teaching us the hard ways. He's like, I'm buying you the building and the facility, but you guys are on your own. Like, I will evict your ass. Like, yeah. And so he's like, I'm probably gonna sell my escrow companies, retire, and I'm just gonna come work with you guys, and you can buy me out, or you can't, or I can be here, or I can't. Anyways, fast forward another year when we're starting to celebrate, the guy passes away.
He died?
Yeah, he had a heart attack.
Whoa.
I don't remember him dying.
He did.
When was that?
This was, I think 11.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I missed that whole thing.
It was horribly sad because this guy, it still is. I mean, he was a mentor to Joey and I. He was a mentor to Amy, who still works for us. I mean, he was like the shop dad. He always had the voice of reason. He was so chill, but he wanted to teach us hard lessons. And then out of nowhere, the guy passes away at like 54.
Yeah, he was young, right?
Yeah. And so I remember getting the phone call, and I remember everything kind of just went black around me. I couldn't I was like, I couldn't even speak. And then I looked around, and I looked at, we had, I think, 5 people, including me, working there. I'm like, fuck, these guys all have to find a job. Where's his son? Because his son was working for us, sweeping the floors, and super, super cool guy. I mean, I love Alex. And I was like, what the fuck are we going to do?
Yeah.
I was like, my world just... Okay, so then anyways, we go through it. The family ends up saying, okay, we're going to keep the building, so you guys, but you need to buy the business back from the estate, right? And so we went through 18 months of negotiation, figured it all out. Joey and I bought it back.
Did they make you pay them rent at that point in the building?
Oh yeah. So then they're like, we're going to keep the building, but then they got the building appraised and they're like, oh shit. Okay. That was gone. So then I panicked. I'm like, fuck, the new buyer's probably just going to kick us out. So I called one of our old customers who was looking for a building, who was best friends with our neighbor, who is all over there. I'm like, hey, your building's ready for you. He goes, what are you talking about? It's for sale. Come buy it. Go now. I'll rent it from you for the next 2 years. He goes, well, it can't be more than 2 years because my lease is up in the other building. I'm moving all my shit in there. So he turned it into his man cave. And so then that fast forward, and then this was probably F13, and then so 2015 comes along, and Joey and I start kind of bickering a lot, and we started kind of the directions of where he wanted to go, where I wanted to go. You grow. We've known each other for 15 years or 20 years almost. So everybody grows at a different rate, and everybody grows in different directions, right? And it's hard to maintain a common, I think, trajectory for two people who are both, adamant about this is how it should be.
Yeah.
And
look at me and Morningstar. Like, me and Morningstar started the Smoking Tire together, but then he wanted to become a fucking mountain man.
Right.
And like, I love Tom, but he's literally in New York right now, fucking hulling trees and building a cabin in the woods,
right,
like by his hands right now. That's what he wants to do.
But honestly, right? No big deal. You recognize that it hurts, it sucks because so then
Joey's more into a one customer at a time sort of thing, right?
Yeah, and
small.
High, he does high quality work. Curated, kind of more small. Like, just keep it small. Like, I'm developing a product line. I've got an engine department. We got a chassis department. We got, you know what I mean. So there's, I wanted.
You're building a street car with air jacks. I think we know where you're like. He wants small and one person, and you're like, I want a street car with air jacks.
He still likes that crazy shit too, but he
likes the more personal touch, whereas you're trying to grow and expand a business beyond your personal touch.
Correct.
Yeah.
I want the business to not need me.
Yeah, well, yeah. You read the E-Myth.
Yeah.
His business, I love Joey. His business, if he doesn't show up at his business every day, there is no business.
Right.
It's all, and with a technician that's that talented, my friend Larry has the same fucking problem.
Right.
Larry Casilla.
Yeah.
He has tried so many times to train people, and he's great at training people, and he can train someone, but all the fucking customer wants is Larry to show up and do their car.
Yeah.
And they don't care what it costs. They don't give a fuck. Larry keeps raising his prices. $5,000 a day, $8,000 a day. I don't give a fuck. I want you. Someone would rather have Larry at $8,000 a day than Larry's apprentice at $800 a day.
See, he's
gonna have no spine and no fucking kneecaps left by the time he's done. Exactly. You know what I mean? But he'll be rich.
Oh yeah. But see, I admire that, but I'm the opposite. I want to empower the people around me. I want them to carry the torch as well, and I want I don't want it to be the Betim show. That drives me nuts. I want it to be the shop, the brand, the people within the team, right?
Yeah.
So that's anyway. So let's do that. So Joey and I had to break up, and honestly, we did a pretty damn good job of being amicable through it. We did the right shit. We did the paperwork. We agreed on something. We made right by it on both ends, And
you have to buy him out?
Yeah. So I had to buy him out. And this is right after so here's the funny part. So I started the company with like $54. I then gave half of it to Joey. He earned every bit of it. He kicked ass, And then Joey and I sold the entirety of it for free
to Jeff. Yeah.
Jeff passes away. I have to renegotiate buying my company back with Joey. So him and I are teaming up trying to get our company back. And then Joey and I have, we start moving in different directions, and then I have to buy it.
You've bought your own company like 3 times.
Yeah, something like that.
There's the kick in the dick.
That's the kick. That's the kick in the dick. Let's keep going. Yeah. So then we have to get out of that building. And I loved that building, our first building that we were in.
It was a good building.
Small.
Your new building's better, but it was a good building.
The new building's more like a machine. That was more like kind of like a studio,
Yeah.
And the new building's efficient. You get shit done.
And by the way, it is directly across the street.
couldn't have been better.
They say, oh, you could get there with a fucking golf club. Like, I could putt.
You could spit.
I could putt from one building to another.
Yeah.
I could throw a baseball through the window of the old shop from the driveway of the new shop.
Yeah, exactly. And so that was so then we moved. So I looked for a building for 18 fucking months.
And end up
19 months.
across the street.
Yeah, and I kept getting beat out by the economy was starting to pick up. It was good.
Yeah.
I kept getting beat out by fashion companies, golf companies,
Creative office space.
creative office. I got beat out by a sunglass
hate the term
company.
creative office space.
Yeah,
that's just a fucking warehouse that you get to charge triple for.
Right, and
Fuck that.
Right.
Exposed brick my ass.
Right. Your cheap ass just didn't paint it. And so this place, actually the building we're in is where Overhauling was filmed, and I knew like Chip Foose and all those guys over there were starting to wind down their season, and that was it, and they weren't going to renew the contract. So Chuck, the old owner, I kept calling him and he goes, no, I want to sell it. I'm like, okay dude, you're going to sit on it for probably 6 or 7 months. What's that revenue to you, right? Or I could just fucking move in next month as soon as they're out. I'll get in there and I'll start paying rent immediately. Sign me at least a 1 or 2 year, and then if it sells, then we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And then again,
How many lifts were in there when you moved in?
none. We
Wow.
did everything in there.
Oh,
you know,
boy.
we tore the walls out, we polished the floors, painted the wall, everything, and then we literally
What did you spend on a renovation, if you don't mind?
every ounce of money I had.
Like 300 or 400 grand?
No, not even close. It was like
Less?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
it was
nice.
it was less than half that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, I
But
think
we
you did well.
But we did a lot of
It's
it.
a really nice finished building for that
Yeah.
little, yeah.
No, we lucked out because the building was in good condition, but it had like checkered floors everywhere. It had it had the hot rod theme going.
Pre-sock hop music.
Exactly, yeah. And so, I mean, we were driving forklifts through walls and it had the lights in there already, and then we traded a lot of work to one of my customers to polish the floors. So that we were just so creative. I was selling old shit upstairs, trying to all right, we got to put carpet in, it's still, it was still a grassroots move. And then we moved over there. That's actually when Joey went out on his own, and I'm like, oh fuck, here we go. So now my rent is 3 times as much as it was back then, and I was barely even paying rent then.
Yeah.
I've got now, in order to make this shit work, we're gonna go from 4 employees to 12.
Yeah.
So that was crazy. So finally, my motherfucker gets settled in, and then a car catches on fire in my front showroom.
Really?
What?
Yeah,
Which car caught on fire in your showroom?
a Cayman.
Really?
Yeah, fucking lithium-ion battery at 4. Okay, so
No
check this out.
fucking way.
2
How have I
weeks-
never heard about this?
Because I kept all this shit quiet.
What?
I'm here.
That makes sense.
You guys give me a
Makes
little.
sense.
You guys give me a little whiskey. I'm gonna be honest.
Holy
But
shit!
I-
A car caught on fire
So-
in your showroom?
So check this fucking shit out. We had my son. We were living in Costa Mesa at the time. He's 2 fucking weeks old. I haven't slept in 2 fucking
2
weeks.
weeks, yeah.
So maybe 3 weeks old.
Son's got an alibi. All right.
Yeah. So so the 4 a.m, Amy from work calls me. She's like, "Get the fuck up! The shop's on fire." Because my phone was just going the whole time. I was like my wife and I finally got some sleep, and she actually called my wife. My wife woke me up, and so I'm driving down 405, being like, "It's fucking over. That's it. Here it is again, right?
Yeah.
Another kick in the dick." I show up there, the fire department sits me down before I even get close, and my front showroom's smoldering. And it didn't burn the roof down or anything. The sprinklers caught it.
Yeah.
But it smoked everything in the front showroom.
Cars? All the
No,
cars?
it didn't take any other cars out.
Wow.
It had some of them had some smoke, but we detailed them out.
Yeah,
and everything.
yeah.
But we had to redo all the insulation, all the ventilation, every piece of carpet, every computer, because it was caustic. The smoke got into so our computers after a month started just randomly just failing, and the Matrix would come up on your screen and shit. And so we ended up.
Insurance cover that?
So I'm still battling insurance. I'm still fucking battling insurance.
At that point, I mean, this is a little inside baseball, but given the business I'm about to go into,
Yep.
does the car's insurance cover that, or does your shop Garage Keepers insurance have to cover
my
that
Garage
shit?
Keepers does.
That's Garage Keepers?
And then make sure you check the boxes. I know everything about shop insurance.
For flood?
For every for whatever you want. Yeah.
We'll talk about this a little later.
Yeah,
Haggerty's going to cover me though. I'm very excited to work with Haggerty on this.
That's going to be awesome.
Haggerty are the greatest people, and I've gotten references from other people, and we talked to Jason Camisa the other night,
Yep.
who said he's never had a claim even questioned by Haggerty. He makes a claim, they pay it out. It's like, I'm so excited to work with Hagerty.
he made a great case.
I'm up to renew here soon for my garage keepers and a bunch of stuff, and I'm starting to shop it a little bit.
Oh, dude, I'll set you up with the head of commercial at Hagerty.
Awesome.
It's like they've been so nice to me about this whole thing.
That's
so
really
wait,
cool.
so your garage keepers covered this, sort of.
So the car is in my care and custody, and so this goes through investigation for like. Then again, it's like almost 2 years. It's going through investigation, and they finally deemed me not responsible for the action that happened, and they blamed it on the battery company. The investigators.
Can you say what kind of battery it was?
I probably shouldn't. Should I?
Yes.
Nah.
It's a fact. It's a fact. It's simply a fact.
It is a fact.
It is a fact. What kind of battery caught on spontaneously combusted?
I'm just gonna say it was a lithium-ion battery, and it was a small one. And
is it Braille?
Yeah.
First guess. I didn't have to go very far to that
anyway,
one.
so the insurance company says, all right, cool, it's not your fault. I'm like, yeah, great. All right, let's get started. Let's fucking cover the cost of the car. My customer's being really patient. And he's like, oh, no, I mean, it's not your fault. You're not held liable. So that means you don't have to pay. I'm like, wait, yeah, but my customer's car burnt down in my showroom, in my care and custody. Luckily, on page fucking 19 of my policy, I checked the box. Doesn't matter if I was negligent or not. If something happened, like a fucking rock comes through my roof, it wasn't my fault, and it breaks the car, we were covered. And it took them so long to acknowledge that after they dropped me, and then they said they're not covering shit. I fucking hate insurance
What is
companies.
insurance for?
Nothing. It's supposed to be called insurance
so crazy.
in case of shit.
Yeah.
Right? And then you pay.
But if you file a claim, then they drop you because you filed the claim. Like, you needed this?
Yeah.
Okay, once, bye.
Yeah. And by the way, we're not going to cover you because you're a dumb car guy, and I'm sure you're not going to read page 19 of your shit. And so
That's crazy.
So that happened.
Would you say you don't recommend lithium-ion batteries?
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say that.
What's that about?
I would say that there's a lot of good brands out there that.
So in 11 months ago, the FAA levied a penalty of $1 million against Braille because they had shipped a lithium-ion car battery by FedEx Air. Like, oh, we'll ship you a battery. You bought a battery.
Yep.
But the battery caught fire in a FedEx truck after it had landed and burned the truck to the ground.
Whoa.
And so I guess they sent a couple of batteries, and this was when the FAA was trying to figure out lithium-ion. And like, we have batteries for cameras that say they have an airplane on it. It's like approved for air travel.
Like GoPro batteries are okay, right?
They're okay, but they still want you to keep them with you. But like
I
we
check
have
GoPro batteries with my camera case all the time.
But like our Sony F5s,
I do.
I'm not
but
flying with you.
there are some batteries though that have like an airplane. It's like air travel approved, and you can check it and it's fine, and they don't care. But this is just something that happened.
What a trip. So, anyways, they of course made me feel like I was the idiot. I hooked the battery up wrong. I'm like, you cannot physically hook the fucking battery up wrong in a Porsche, basically.
Yeah.
Like, it just goes in, and here's your left, here's your right. They don't go over unless you turn it around, but we didn't do that, and blah, blah, blah. The charger that they prescribed for that battery was plugged in, blah, blah, blah.
It was on a tender.
It was on a tender. It blew the fucking hood off of the car.
Wow.
Yeah. And
That's some scary shit.
oh, yeah.
It's real scary.
Real scary. So I am
Yeah.
so super sketched. And so that's why I just teamed up
Do you
with
not park lithium-ion battery-equipped cars indoors anymore?
I used to not even let them on the street block. I was like, get them the fuck out of here. But so now that, like, I got with Optima batteries, and I'm all over those guys. Do
they have a lithium yet?
I'm sure something's going to come in the future. Right now, they just have their AGMs,
Yeah.
and they just launched a direct bolt-in, not the 6-pack, that you don't have to have crazy brackets and everything. It literally bolts right in, but it's the same. So we're doing a lot of that right now.
There's customers, I've heard, I hear a lot of mixed reviews from people about Optimas. I've worked with Optima a bunch. I went to their facility in Wisconsin. I think a lot of the issues people have with Optimas are lack of knowledge about how Optimas work, because they work differently from other batteries and how you take care of them and how you tend them and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
I have had really good luck with Optima batteries.
So have we. We have, I mean, you have
And they haven't paid me. I mean, I'm just saying this is literally, I've bought them at fucking AutoZone and put them in my cars, and I've had good experiences.
I have too. I've killed a couple, and then you can wake them back up.
You can bring them back to life.
Yeah.
Did I use the Optima digital tenders?
Yeah.
Dude, the digital
things are
400
badass.
and the digital 1200 tenders are fucking rad.
They're money.
I have 3 of them, and they're awesome.
Yeah,
like,
so-
you can bring back a fully dead battery with
Yeah,
those things.
100%.
Yeah. I've heard when I went there, I hope I don't get in trouble for saying this. They showed me a prototype of a lithium battery they were working on, the orange top.
Oh wow.
which they had a working one for motorcycles,
Right.
but they said they were going to adapt it for cars.
Oh, very cool.
But I haven't seen it in production yet. I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying that. I hope I don't.
Either
but-
way, you know, a company like that.
Yeah, those two, the 400 and the 1200.
Yeah, those things are awesome.
I have two 400s and a 1200 at my house, and they're fucking awesome.
Those little 400s are badass.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, they're both great. You know, so that's so now I trust leaving a tender on a car because it's got the circuitry, it's got all that good stuff, but you know, anyway, so that was the other kick in the day.
That's crazy. Fires are bad.
Fires are bad. So luckily the sprinklers put the fire out, and it was so weird. My sprinkler system didn't go off in the entire shop, just literally above the fucking car. And so the fire department kicked the door in, put it out, and we rebuilt, we repainted.
Does that mean your system is good or bad?
That's what I asked, and the fire department was like, well, it worked, right? And I was like, yeah. He goes, okay, so we had to reservice it. No, that opened up some doors where, here goes the E-myth. Like, then I had to learn about, I had to pull permits, I had to do this, I had to redo my fire, my this. Luckily, my landlord was so rad. He was such a good dude. You know,
Are you still renting, or did you buy the building
No,
from him?
I'm still renting. Yeah,
That's good.
I got 2 more years on the lease, and then I don't know what I'm gonna do next.
I'm building my building from the ground up, so I'm really learning about this because
You are
I'm learning
so
how the
deep.
fire system is literally built and permitted and construction.
Right.
I fought the city and won.
Oh, nice.
The city wanted me. So the city says when you build a building for what I'm doing, there has to be a fire hydrant within 50 feet of the building. It's very close. 50 feet's close.
Right.
There is a fire hydrant within 50 feet of the building, but it's the rear of the building, and the city said, we don't like this.
We didn't recognize it.
We need to put a fire hydrant within 50 feet of the front of the building, even though there's 2 doors at the rear.
Yeah.
Right? So they go, no, you have to have a fire hydrant at the front. And so we surveyed, and I had to pay to survey the entire sidewalk area within the required zone. There are no water mains. And the only area close enough to a water main has a bunch of electrical shit for a series of traffic lights.
Damn.
So the city goes, okay, well, and we go, look, there's literally nowhere you can put this. So they go, okay, put it over there. So they gave us a spot. You put it here. That's 78 feet.
Right.
Okay. So they wanted me to install the second closest fire hydrant to my building at my own cost, which meant I would have had to dig up Centinela Avenue.
Oh, great.
You know what that cost?
That's going to be cheap.
You know what it cost to shut down Centinela for 3 days?
Oh, my God.
And so I'll just say it because I don't have to pay it. It's $250,000. So I was going to have to pay $250,000 to install the second closest fire hydrant to my building. Eventually, we fought and we won, and we don't have to put the fire hydrant in now. But like that's how this can go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes quick.
Oh yeah. The other battle with fire hydrants. While we're on this, because this is so fucking crazy, I had to tell you because it's so crazy. So we have the water main that comes into the building is 6-inch. I have like 160 nozzles in this building.
Oh, yeah.
There's fucking nozzles everywhere, dude. Because the fire system in this building is crazy, right? The water flows from the main at 3,000 gallons a minute. It's a lot of water.
Out of a 6-inch pipe,
So
you're
out of a
3,000
The
gallons.
second it hits my building, it opens to an 8-inch. So my internal is an 8-inch, which is big, and it flows more than you'd think. But they calculated blah, 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 and they go, well, it flows at 3,000 gallons a minute, but we've done all this math, and what we really think you should have is 3,030 gallons a minute.
3,030.
3,030. We need 1 more percent.
Who did you make mad?
What I right?
Who
And
the fuck did you piss off?
So what do you have to do to get that 1%? Can't come from the city. Have to install an auxiliary fire pumping system. Where does it go? On the roof. So what does that mean? It means I have to reinforce the roof for the weight of it and plumb from the basement to the roof and back.
Wait.
Yeah, but wait, indeed.
So
we fought them on that.
So
and,
if that 6
one
inch,
as well.
However, if that 6-inch pipe is only producing 3,000 gallons
Yeah.
per minute, and they want 3,030, but you're going to pull off that,
You
to
can
then,
you can suck it.
Oh,
You can suck the water faster than it flows naturally.
at
With
3,000 gallons per minute, you can.
the size of the pump, This is why you have to reinforce the roof, because the size of the pump is the size of this whole fucking table. It's the size of a Volkswagen.
But it's like exhaust scavenging, what we were talking about before.
Yeah, with a lot of fucking horsepower.
It pulls the water out.
Yeah,
This is the
700
construction
horsepower
hour
pump.
of the fucking show. Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
So we've
Sorry,
hired
everybody.
like many
We've digressed.
some people are interested in this kind of shit. This is what it takes to build a building in Los Angeles. I mean, by some, I mean fucking 4 people.
Yeah, 6.5 people.
But this, in case you might want to be a customer of mine, is why your car will be safe, because we have covered all fire suppression angles.
Right.
Unbelievable.
So, isn't that nuts? Like the shit you have to go through and learn as you're starting a business.
Oh my God.
Just look. I recommend everybody chasing their dream. Right. I recommend everybody trying to follow their passion, no matter what it is. If you have to start a business, you have to go work somewhere, sacrifice a little bit, go do it. But just be prepared.
Yeah.
You know. So I'm telling you guys, it's like kind of the shitty kick in the nut side of things. You
That's
know?
okay. This is fine.
But
the upside is there's a
upside-
lot of glory there, dude. You
The
guys
up-
build fucking rowdy ass cars. Give us the glory resume.
Simple. I do what I love every fucking day, and it comes at a cost.
And also, Jeff Swartz Pikes Peak car.
Right.
Fucking, how fast have you guys gone in the half mile?
We've gone 205.
Ooh, that's very good.
And a
205 and a half
and a
for a
two-wheel drive
Porsche
car.
is very very fast.
But I had a broken first gear. I started in second. We didn't get to turn the boost up, and
Is that Swan's car?
no, that's Jason's from Shift Sector.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're trying
Jesus
to do
Christ.
launch control and crashing. Yeah. And so
That's fucking great. Scotto said you're building him a 5-cylinder right now.
yeah, we're gonna start doing that.
I like that you guys are expanding into other shit. Have you promoted your Fox body skills yet?
Nope. We have no Fox body skills. No, so
The
we're
new owner of my car is extremely happy with it.
That's awesome.
He really is fucking super, super stoked on it.
I love that car, by the way.
I love it too. I wish I drove it more.
Time and a place, though, right?
It was a car that filled a need I didn't have.
Right.
I'm much more happy with a 911 designed for the city than with a Fox body designed for the canyons. I don't go
So
in
is
the
that what
canyons
you're
if I'm not
calling?
working.
Is that what you're calling the 911? It's designed for the city, like an urban
It's not
assault.
designed for the city, but that's what I got it for. Yeah.
So you can just pound speed bumps. You can.
Yeah, dude,
you
our
don't have to
city's
be-
fucked up. I drive on shitty potholed roads with shitty, weird angles and driveways and all this stuff, and I wanted a 911 for that.
So I've got a customer who lives up outside of Reno, and he sends me a picture of like a hauling ass in a lifted 911. I don't know who built it, but
Is it Ruby Stone?
No.
If it's Ruby Stone, Lee built it.
No, it's not a Lee car, and I'm trying to figure it out. He found it on Bring It Trailer, and
Oh, wait, was it white?
I don't know. Let me look.
If it's white, it's Radwood Rick's car. Radwood Rick's safari car was so beautiful and sold on Bring a Trailer. Someone fucking stole it. No, Radwood Rick is irreverent something.
No, it's red, and so he sends me this. That's his commute to work.
Oh, his
he-
commute to work
Yeah.
is on dirt. That's
It's on dirt.
amazing.
He hauls.
Look at this one. That one is Radwood Rick's car, and it was
yeah.
very beautiful, and it sold for not nearly enough money on Bring a Trailer. It looks like mine.
What does something like that go for right now? Like Radwood Rick's car.
So that one sold for like 75 on Bring a Trailer, which the buyer fucking stole it. Stole it. If you want a car from Lee, including a donor with a 2-year waiting list, it's 130 grand.
Well, fuck.
That's not what I paid.
Yeah.
I mean, honest, straight up, that's not what I paid. But I'm a fucking marketing machine.
You're you.
I when I like something, people go and buy it. So that's why I got a little discount. And plus, I've known Lee longer than I've known you.
Right.
I met Lee in 2005.
Fuck.
When he was a proper full-time race car driver
Dude.
at Farnbacher Lowell's.
Oh yeah. That's when I was working for Porsche. That's when I knew Lee longer than you knew him.
Yeah,
I
probably.
met him in 03.
Yeah,
And he was. Okay, so I watched a video of Lee. I'm just gonna say.
Please, go ahead.
He was at Sebring in a not old, probably like an 01 GT3 RS race car before they were the RSRs.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking hammering the shit out of it. So I'm working for the factory. I'm watching like the Pat Long and the Romain Dumont. I'm watching I'm looking at all the data. I'm looking at all the in-car. I'm watching all this stuff, and I see this young dude Lee, fucking hammering the shit. I mean, he's coming out of corners, fourth gear, like crossed up, and just but getting it, and I was like, this guy is
He's amazing.
He's insane.
He's an amazing driver, and I think
He's just a rad dude.
Yeah, and with the right set of circumstances, he would be on the same level as Pat Long for sure.
You got to try looking up Lee King GT3 RS Sebring. I don't know if it's still up there.
That Nürburgring video that he did
Rain
is
Dance.
one of the
It's an
most
in-car.
the Rain Dance video, which I guess JF
dude.
is the producer of, but fundamentally it's just a fucking GoPro on his
Right,
helmet.
right.
But that Lee's Rain Dance video is one of the most impressive driving displays I've ever seen.
He's bananas.
I mean,
and-
like, look, he's sliding
Oh,
the
yes.
singer into the corkscrew at Laguna.
Oh yeah, pull that over
backing
so
it
the
into
so
the
the
corkscrue.
so the
Like,
fools can see
he's
that.
one of the best.
He,
We
I
worked with him
remember
on
that
proving-
didn't make it, Zach. He beat a 458 Scuderia or a 458 Speciale's time around Laguna, and that singer doing that, I think.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
then he's nuts. He took Project Swan at 114 degrees when you guys did the thing out there.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
he ran within like a couple tenths of the world's fastest streetcar that's ever lapped.
Oh
there,
yeah, I
right?
think it was the second fastest streetcar ever lapped Chuck Wall, and
Yeah.
did it by accident.
Did it by accident,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was 114 degrees out.
Yeah.
He's never been in the car before.
Yeah.
And this is how he does it. He goes out, he gets his warm up lap, he does a burner, and he's like, I just won't go any faster. And I'm like, how the fuck do you know that? And then he goes out, he goes, all right, I'll try it again.
And then it's not
Yeah.
faster. Yeah.
And
When I first went out in his Safari, because here's how I ended up with the Safari. We did a film for Drive. We went to North Carolina to his like road, like this single track stage that he closed. And by closed, I don't mean we permitted it. Like it was literally had a barrier at one end. So we drove to the end and drove back and went, it's closed. and he in flip flops. He didn't even take off the flip flops. Like he didn't do barefoot. Like with the flip flops on, put on such a fucking display in this Safari car that I got out of it and I went, I can't do that. And he goes, yes, you can. And I go, no, I can't. He goes, yes, you can. He goes, get in the fucking car. And I went out and then I did it like with shoes on, not as good as him, but sideways enough where I went, holy shit, I just did that on
And
my
I
first fucking try.
I have to have one.
And I go, how much are these?
Yeah.
And he gave me a number, a for me number, and I go, put me on the list
I'm finding- yeah.
right now. I'll start finding. And it took 2 years from when I drove his car to when I ended up getting one, but worth it, 100% worth
Yeah.
it.
And he's got a good team down there that builds some
Oh,
really nice
dude!
stuff.
So I'll shout them all out. Goldcrest Motorsports.
Love those guys down there.
who are great, and they did some of the things that you did the basics engine.
Right.
They fixed the air conditioning, and they did the suspension stuff and the cage. And Bryson the painter, Classic Livery of Atlanta is the name of his company. Fucking amazing. Go to Instagram, Bryson the painter. This dude. His Instagram is actually Bryson the painter. This guy and his shop, they fucking rule. Their paint skills are incredible. And then Tire Rack hooked me up with the set of the BFGs. Clarion hooked up the stereo. I think that's all of them.
Awesome.
Keep going down to go find Bryson's Civic, Zach. He repaints his Civic every year, and he did John Player Special livery this year. He did a Golf. Look at that Marlboro. That's
Yes.
Bryson's Civic. He goes time attack racing this fucking thing. This is paint. This is not all of it is paint.
That's so rad.
This guy, dude, when I saw him at Grid Life with the Golf livery he painted on that Civic, it was absolutely off the charts. That guy rules.
I love the craft and the craftsmanship. I don't care what industry it is. When you see, I'm such a sucker for it too. Like I'll eat it up. You're telling me like somebody on the corner making some craft whiskey. I'm like, okay, fuck Blanton's. You know what I mean? Even though it is.
Oh,
but-
he painted that. They painted that martini livery as
okay.
well.
So never mind. I've seen his work.
That's
I know- yep.
That's Tate's car.
Yeah, that's
from RWB Atlanta.
That's a pretty badass car.
Yeah, that's all paint.
Yeah,
This guy has
That's incredible.
mad fucking skills.
that's incredible.
Yeah, I really shout out to Bryson in Atlanta. He's fucking ridiculous. I think we got a lot of questions, don't we? We got a lot. We're gonna get to questions. We got questions from the audience. Can you punch in on those, Zach? If you want to get in on the super chat right now, we're gonna do questions for the next 30 minutes. You got time, Betim? You got somewhere to be?
I have nowhere to be. but here.
Perfect. Nicholas, thank you for your donation. Abel says, but Tim, what is the one car that comes into the shop and you think, man,
He clarified this in post below.
Oh, what did he say?
He basically said, like, are there any cars that come in where you go, I don't want to work on this car?
Fox body?
Anything that Matt brings us. No,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. No, honestly, what car? I mean, there's always
I'll clarify his question for him. Like, you do a lot of these big projects. Like, I know you love a challenge. The putting a whole race car body onto a car, building 1,000 horsepower engine. Like, are you are you tired of doing oil changes and brake jobs on customers' cars? Like, is there is there a job too small or a car too annoying?
Not at all. I love the service work. You know what, the service work is rad because it gives the guys a break, and it's like a recharge for them almost, because you're so taxed when you're doing these big projects. You know, like you ever go to school and you're studying and you haven't moved, but you're like smoked. It's, you know, your brain consumed. I think that's what happens with the techs too. So I don't mind any of that. You know, it's when I have a car come in that I know nothing about, like a Ferrari 488.
Well, it brings up to the next question, the Ultima Gtr, which I haven't seen around your shop. Someone bought an Ultima Gtr at auction and brought it to you guys. Why?
Okay, so we've built that guy a few Porsches, and he brought. So this is how it went down. He bought the car. He said, "I'm gonna ship it to you. I just need you to look at it real quick, and I'm gonna take it to the track next weekend." And the car came. We're like, "You're not fucking driving that thing."
Why not?
Okay,
what was wrong with it?
The first thing that stood out in my head was the belt came around the top side of the alternator, and the fuel pressure regulator was right behind it, right in front of it on the firewall. And what was hanging over the belt was a fuel pressure sensor, about a 1/4 inch above the belt. As soon as that belt snaps on that little 1/8 inch MPT brass fitting out,
It'll take the whole thing out.
Pump fuel into the alternator and then drip down onto the headers, so you're dead. The shift
that sounds
linkage,
safe.
the shift linkage on the car, because it had a 915 gearbox, had all these U-joints that if the motor torqued over just a little bit too far, it'd bind the shifter up. There was just too much shit I was like, you can't take this car. The oil line was resting on the header. Too many things. So then
is that car, not to interrupt, but is that car designed that way and that's a bad design, or someone assembled it poorly, or what?
Yeah, I think somebody just... they assembled it probably just to do cars and coffee.
Yeah.
You know, which is fine, whatever, but you'll still burn your car down.
Dude,
So
we filmed a car for Big Muscle once where the guy was tired of his car scraping.
Yeah.
He had a T-Bird. So he had the shop weld a 2-inch thick plate piece of steel on the bottom. So he just put a skid plate on it, and it still scraped everywhere, but it just ate
But now
asphalt.
it made sparks.
So like you didn't fix it. You just put you put a knee pad on it.
Yeah.
It was really, but that's what people did.
It's still bleeding, but you put the Band-Aid on top.
Yeah.
Yeah. So... yeah, that's the problem. So then he goes, all right, then do it the way you'd want to. I'm like, okay. So I joked around. I'm like, I'd put a fucking paddle shifted sequential in it, and Motec injection, a fire system, and blah, blah, blah. He goes, cool. We have a track day at Laguna coming up. I missed that deadline because big projects.
Yeah.
Because you like every time you think something's going to happen quickly, and then it just doesn't. Double it.
Yeah.
You are a victim of that.
I'm the victim.
Yeah. And so
I won't rub it in, but
Yeah.
it only took you 5.5 months to do
An
the
oil
work on
change.
my engine.
Took us 5.5 months to
do an
on your
oil
car.
change on my fucking car.
So no, the Ultima Gtr is fucking badass. I got to drive it at Laguna Seca. I got to drive it at Cal Speedway. So first time we ever took the car on a shakedown, I was out on the banking going 178 miles an hour in the thing.
You went 178?
Yeah.
On the big banking, not the tight banking.
On the
right?
going into the big banking. And so
Those cars are so cool looking.
So the question is, do you think you could put what are the Albins? Are those shocks?
no,
It's
that's
Albins.
a transmission. That's a
Oh, the
sequential.
Albins
Yeah.
gear. Oh, could it beat a 991 GT3 or GT3 RS on track? Similar conditions and drivers.
Okay, very nice. So we were at Laguna Seca, and I was lapping that thing, and I was taking people for rides, and the car, everybody loved that car so much. Even the sound guys were kind of like putting the meter back over here, and then you know there was a GT3, a .2 charcoal GT3 out there. The guy was just hauling ass, and I was basically asleep behind him, and that in my head was like, oh fuck, what am I doing? You know,
Really?
And
Dude, look at it. I mean, it just looks like a Formula car with a body on it, right?
It's like a DP car.
So we corner bounce aligned it. It was 2,240 pounds. It made 707 on 91 octane. Oh my god! Through a fucking sequential gearbox with some of the baddest ass TC you could ever think of.
So it works now.
The car is so rad. So I was white knuckling at Cal Speedway. We went to Laguna Seca, and I was just having a blast.
So would you actually recommend one of those to somebody?
You don't approach it like it's going to be a car that is a $70,000 haul ass car. You're going to have to put some money into it and do it right, and then it'll be.
Would it have been easier if you actually started from scratch?
No, I mean there was enough there. It had a really nice LS7 in it that we didn't have to touch. We just changed the injection and all that stuff. I don't think so.
Okay.
I think
I was curious. That car was sitting around for a while, so
if you were a foot and a half shorter, I'd say you.
I can't get in it. No, I'm over. I cannot personally, and not that this needs to be about me, but I personally cannot drive any car fast that I'm not comfortable in. Just can't do it.
No, you have to.
I've
be
gotten in a
comfortable.
couple different like prototype-y cars.
It's too distracting.
It's too distracting when I can't move properly,
No,
and I can't
you're
get
risking
past
too
that.
much. You're
yeah,
risking.
yeah.
It's just not. Yeah, I get
Where
it.
if I'm comfortable, I can go pretty quick. You know, Ricky says, "What are each of the best sounding cars you've ever driven?"
A Carrera GT.
Carrera GT straight pipe.
No, I love the way they sound with the OEM exhaust. I know that sounds ridiculous, but they just have they've nailed it somehow. It's not loud enough,
Yeah.
but the sound that it makes.
I like Carrera GT as well. Ricky brings up the LFA. Have you had to go to an LFA ever?
I didn't get to drive it, but we had an LFA in the shop about 6 months ago, and we were just putting tires on it really, but that thing is music.
They are really, really nice. I drove one of those at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was.
That's awesome.
Because I let the internet get to me.
Yeah.
Fuck all of them people, dude. That car's, the brakes, the steering, and the sound are so on point. You know, and it was fucking fantastic. But if you go back, the Honda N600 with the VFR with the bike motor swap, dude, 12,500 RPM. That sounded
awesome.
really good. That sounded
amazing.
so
That is
good.
rad.
Yeah. Nathan says, "What cool cars have family members owned that make you view those cars more any sports cars that influence?" Okay, all right. So family members' cars that make you view those cars more fondly, or any sports cars that influence me. I'm going to drop two, and I don't think he's going to actually like my answers.
So sorry.
My grandfather owned a 57 Thunderbird. I never personally saw it. The legend was, in New Jersey, there's a big hill called East Clinton Road. It's a big hill. And he used to brag that it could go up this hill in idle. It had so much torque, it could go up the hill in idle.
That's such a dad thing to say.
Which is
right?
such
Yes.
a grandpa thing to say.
right.
At some point, you know, if I have all the room in the space, I would like to have a 57 Thunderbird, because I really do think they look very fucking cool.
And we'd go idle the shit out of it.
I
Up
would
hills.
idle it up big hills all day. And I'll tell you something. When my mom bought the first gen RX 300 Lexuses, I was like so mad at my mom for not buying a real SUV, like a Tahoe or something. Like, man, this isn't a real SUV. And they have them still, the original ones, at their vacation home. And when I go down to their vacation house to hang out, and I drive the original first gen RX 300,
Yeah.
it is an amazing car. Amazing car.
Mm-hmm.
From a styling perspective, it's really handsome and yet pretty simple. I mean,
I think in the middle years they got pretty good looking. The beginning, I think, was
not
just,
the first, the 03, when the slight facelift with the Altezza taillights.
Yeah.
It's a really handsomely styled car that it's functional, it's really durable, the materials are really good, and in hindsight, my mom was totally fucking right, because a 2002 or 2002, is that 03? 2002 RX 300, that one, so
that holds a special place in your heart.
dude, you know what, I have to say, like, my mom was right. Like, it's a really handsome, it is aged really well, it's really durable, we never have any problems with them. The leather quality and the wood quality and the quality of the engine and the power, they're all there. And like, I didn't appreciate it when I was younger, but now as an adult, like, I really appreciate what Lexus did with that car. What about you? Is there anything you didn't appreciate so much when you were younger that you appreciate now?
My parents had an 81 Dodge Aspen with a 318. That was rad. We used to go, that thing would stall all the time. My poor mom would have to try to fix. There it is.
God,
That's the one.
that is a terrible looking vehicle.
And can you imagine?
Really
can you imagine?
unfortunate.
Can you imagine in like 82, 83, 84?
The sedan?
Yeah, there it is. I mean, look at that beauty.
That is a fucking unfortunate looking car.
This is now
man.
my exhibit A for whenever I say I don't like brown cars, because I know a lot of jalopnik don't care what I think, but this
bingo bango right
this
there.
is it.
And then my dad had a Z28 Camaro. I think it was an 84 that we thought was he would just do burnouts everywhere.
Yeah.
So that was awesome.
You see the Detroit Speed one at SEMA?
Oh yeah.
The IROC?
Yes.
Detroit Speed knows what's up. Do you know those guys? You know the Tuckers?
No, but they are all the stuff they put out is just awesome.
They're kindred spirits to you. You would really like the Tuckers and their cars.
I would love to hang out.
I've driven
and
all their
yeah.
cars and they're fucking incredible. Those guys know exactly what they're doing.
That's so
and
awesome.
that is a fucking IROC
That is
right
a
there.
beast of a car.
That car looks
That's
so
my childhood
good.
right there. That is my
car looks so
My
good.
dad is probably like, oh, we got to have that right.
Do you know
now.
what what happened to that car? They built that basically and someone fully totaled it.
Oh,
and they
son of a
rebuilt
bitch.
it. This is it. And they rebuilt it.
Wow.
This is the same car. This car was like, I saw this car when I went to Detroit Speed. I feel like it was about 2.5, 3 years ago. When I went to North Carolina to Mooresville to drive their cars, this car was literally sitting in the fucking woods with trees growing through it.
That one?
Crashed. Yeah. Yeah, and they fixed it.
Wow.
And they built it over. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was white. It's the white one.
Those
they,
cars are
they
just,
built it.
Those cars are just awesome.
That was it before. And someone
Oh, I remember seeing
and
that
someone
car.
crashed it hard as fuck and just destroyed the whole thing and they rebuilt it and that's the same car. I love them. I'll plug the shit out of the Tuckers any day.
Yeah, they're
they
badass.
Rule.
Yeah, they
you would really like them if you've never hung out with them. You guys would totally get along. What else we got? Dan, thank you, Dan, for your donation. Toon Squad says, a few years ago, Betim was on the show discussing electrification of cars and the possibilities of modifying a 918. Did that ever come to a fruition? Can you modify a 918?
No, it never came to fruition, but I haven't stopped really looking into it. And now,
Is there anything to be done setup-wise with a 918?
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, and the cars respond well to. I mean, I can tell they do respond well to a more aggressive setup. There's
What do you do? Change alignment settings and
just-
stuff? That's
yeah,
it?
a little more aggressive setup on the alignment. You don't have to throw any parts at it. I would like to do a light exhaust. I would like to get into. So it's funny. I just had a long conversation at lunch about the future of BBI and where we're going to go. Look, I like gas. I like internal combustion engines. I like all that stuff. The future, though, I mean, we're going to have to address the electrification. We're going to start. You're going to see in the next 2 to 3 years, BBI, a small portion of our company is going to be kind of dedicated to e-mobility and
Have you seen the aftermarket hybrid system for the 911?
Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah. So
Have you fucked with one?
no, we haven't yet. But so we're there. I can't talk about
For
it
those
yet,
who have never heard of
but-
it, tell people what it is.
So the aftermarket hybrid system for the 911, I forgot the name of the company. They're
Zach
up,
will find it.
they're up north, but they have right in between the engine and the transmission, they have this billet plate with the electric motor there that takes place of the flywheel. And it boosts, I think, another 75 horsepower.
175 horsepower.
175.
Vonnen Performance.
That's what it is, yeah.
Trunk-mounted battery and electric motor in place of the stock flywheel.
So we've spoke with these guys. We're kind of in talks with them, preliminary
Really?
talks about a few things. I mean, it's pretty cool. So you don't even have a starter motor anymore. It's the motor that goes between the engine and the gearbox, and it's I mean, I love this shit, but I'm a
Well,
hard.
I tested the Panamera Turbo SE hybrid.
I just drove one
How awesome is it?
Oh, dude.
It's so awesome.
So the customer has a 991 turbo that we built for him, and he has that, and he goes, "I'm selling the turbo," and he goes, "Tim, let's go to the light, get in the fucking car, and go launch it."
Yeah.
He goes, "Press all the buttons, do all the thing." First, he goes, "Watch this, put an E," and we just kind of cruise
Yeah,
all quiet,
yeah.
and then we launch it. Holy shit!
Well, so I did like 6 laps around a track.
Oh, see,
right?
that's what.
And when I finished the 6 laps, the battery had more charge than when I started.
Isn't that insane?
Even though I was in full discharge, every time I went flat out of a corner, it charged more than it discharged just from the braking. It was so cool.
It's just utilizing all of that momentum, all that energy. The
Awesome.
Yeah, that's that. See, that stuff excites me. I think you're going to see maybe not 3, 5, but in 5 years we're going to
So
do
could
another
you be a
podcast.
dealer for this product, an installer for this product?
Yes. Yeah.
That'd be so fucking rad, dude.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of excited about the possibility of a hybrid 911 because
I think we're going to see it sooner, like from the factory.
Well,
I think
aren't
we're
we
gonna-
going to see it with the 992? I think we are.
I think we're going to see it with the 992.
I really think we are. It's 75 grand is the kit.
Yeah, 75 grand. It'll give you 10 seconds of balls out boost, and I think it's a 90-second regen time, I want to say. And there's but that's where we're going to come in. We're going to say, all right, fuck that. Let's modify it. Let's push it further. And you remember when we did the story about cooling
Yeah.
Right? How fast do you want to go for how long?
Right.
You will see with the electrification of vehicles, that is going to be the fucking key. How much heat and how much control and how much thermal dissipation you can you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's going to be everything.
That's like the Model 3. They did that road and track test, and that was a big thing. That's why they had to bring 2 cars.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely everything. And so we're going to play with that stuff.
Your adventures in lithium-ion batteries.
Here we go. We're going right back into the batteries.
right?
So when I was kind of balking earlier about talking, getting kicked in the nuts and all that shit, those are just the speed bumps that you have to, like, in the face of adversity, you got to smile, right? And you gotta just take it, learn from it, and just keep fucking crushing. Wake up the next day with the same smile on your face, or you're gonna get fucked. So I wasn't trying to woe is me. I was just. There's so many exciting things happening.
It wasn't a woe is me. It was like, you run a small business. I'm about to start a small business.
Yeah.
So just on a personal level, I was just interested in some of that adversity.
Mentally, where you are right now today, starting a small business, where I was when I was fucking 26 years old, are 2 fucking planets, right?
Well, that's good. I read the E-Myth. I started the right place.
Yeah, you did. And, I was so thankful because Instagram wasn't that popular. I didn't have other shit that I was like, I'm sad because I'm not that, right? So
did my shit give you your first ever real boost of publicity?
100%.
Really?
Yep.
That's crazy.
I was getting all nostalgic. That's why I texted you the other day, because I was watching that video. I'm like, dude, Matt is the one who really, honestly put us on the internet.
That's so interesting. I'm so happy that
10
happened.
years ago.
Yeah. No, and that was Craig Lieberman.
First season.
Yeah,
That was Craig Lieberman
right.
was like, you have to meet this guy because you would really like him, and he's got cool shit.
So thank you, Matt.
Oh, my pleasure, dude. My pleasure. I'm happy to do it.
And thanks, Craig.
And
And
now
everybody
I
else.
pay you.
Well, yeah, the shit
For most
shit
things.
rolls downhill.
For most things.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm glad after 10 years I finally brought you a fucking product that you know how to work on.
Yeah, you kept bringing me all this crazy shit.
It took
like
10 years to bring Corvettes,
Yeah.
Mustangs.
Hey, but Tim, I need you to take a gas tank out of an independent rear end Fox body that never had an independent rear end, and you got this, right? Oh fuck yeah, let's do it.
It's easy. It's just, if you listen to the internet, dude, that shit is super easy, and everyone can do it in their sleep. If you listen to the internet, my car is a $15,000 car that anyone could build at home.
Right. Of course, yeah.
Okay.
All right, go work on it then, internet.
Yeah, good
have fun.
fucking-
Yeah,
good
get in the
luck.
trenches and have
Enjoy
fun.
yourself. Grayson says, what are your thoughts on modern day versus previous old school Aston Martins? The DBS is amazing, but I miss the old Vantage.
I don't think they're as pretty as they used to be.
No,
but
they were so sick. There was a time, I think it was 03.
early 2000s.
Yes.
Just
holy
everything
fuck.
was magic.
My
remember-
Vanquish is the sexiest Aston Martin ever. Just saying that.
Well,
It is.
yeah.
No, you know what's really growing on me now is the 80s. The Aston Mustangs, the
Nope.
80s Vantages
I
are
can't-
really
Nope.
growing on me now.
I can't get with you on that.
No?
But I can
Nope.
see how you would like that.
They're fucking sexy, man, and they're going up. They're really through
Pull one of those out. Let's see what we got.
No, Google like an 85 or 86 Aston Martin Vantage. Yes, that is fire, dude.
Never mind. I did see one of those. Those are pretty cool.
Second from that one right there, Zach. Second from the top. Yep. That.
Okay, that is
dude,
badass.
that's
Never mind.
fucking hot. You
You're right.
can't. You
You're
can't
right.
not like that.
If it had a different front, I can't, because we filmed on Big Muscle like a wide body Mustang 2. I'm not
pretty
kidding.
close.
Similar color,
Yeah, pretty
and it was
close.
very similar to that, and so I can't get that out of my head.
I understand the Mustang did come first, but
Ooh, in this picture, it's like a 240Z with a Mustang front. I'm sorry, I can't.
I
do it.
really like these, man, and these are expensive now. These are 150 grand, 200 grand now.
What car was that? Wasn't the same car that was in the Fast and the Furious when they were in London? With that girl was driving when she was all blacked out and didn't like Vin Diesel. What car was that?
Ooh, I don't remember.
That
I'm sorry to say.
reminds me of something like that.
Sorry to say, I don't remember. I feel like that was a Japanese car. No, not. Oh, but was that a Jensen Interceptor?
That
That may have been a
Maybe, that's
Jensen
what it was.
Interceptor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm not as big a fan of a Jensen Interceptor as the new Astons. I don't know. I don't love their styling. That DBS Superleggera thing looks super sexy. The V8 Vantage is a little awkward to me.
English Corvette.
Yeah. Although I'm getting another one. I got one as a press car. Didn't really go well. It was an early build pre-pro car, and it had a lot of problems. And Aston, I didn't really give it the kindest review. And Aston asked if I would take another one that was a more recent build. Oh, is there a little plastic in there from there? I apologize.
Mine know that too, yeah.
And they asked if I would take another one and try again. That was a more recent build because they said the early pre-pro cars, like, look, they're hand built. They're not necessarily representative of the customer's product. That's fucking sexy, dude. I like that. Is that the new DBS?
That's the Super Leggera.
That looks great.
I think the front mouth is huge, but that's all cars today for cooling reasons and stuff. And the headlights, I think, just need a little. I don't know. They're a little out of proportion. This car is gigantic, but the back 3/4 of it
that looks like the
is great.
sickest FRS you could ever have.
Oh, that's cold.
That's amazing.
That's cold. I think it looks really good.
I love the new Genesis
It looks
Coupe.
good.
I love the new Genesis Coupe.
I think this.
Little bit,
especially in white, like
mouth,
that,
yeah.
I think this looks good. But as the gentleman said, the original, the first gen V8 Vantage is extremely
That
handsome.
was sex. The DB9 was
Extremely
sex.
handsome.
The DBS built on that, I think, was
The
great.
DBS had a little body kit.
It did have a little body kit going.
ricey body kit happening on it that I wasn't the biggest fan of.
Yeah, there were, like I said, back in like 05 maybe.
The Vanquish, dude. The fucking Vanquish.
There was one that
is
this
hot.
guy Matt, before I even knew him, he'd park it on PCH drive
thought you
to
were
work.
about to talk about me.
No, different Matt. He had it parked in front of a coffee shop, and it was just fucking buried on the ground on HREs, and it was just done right. And I was just like, it was just a sexy ass car.
Oh, one of those is mine. I think my 03, that is going to age. I mean, it already does. That car looks fucking hot. I drive that car right now. It's at what should be, my Aston's 15 years old. It's an 03. 2018, it should be at minimum cool right now. According to the math, 15 years is minimum cool.
Is that when things start to
That's
cool out?
pretty much 15 to 20 years is minimum cool, and then they come back. But that is hot as fuck even today.
Here's what I'm talking about with the headlights. Look, your headlights go from, like near the front grille, they got that long classic race car shape, right? I mean, we've seen that from basically back in the 60s when they started covering headlights for race cars. And then you go to this, and it's very short. And it's same
small.
on the new Vantage. I didn't like it on the new
It
Vantage.
almost looks like a Viper headlight.
The Vantage has very small headlights.
You want to fuck your brain up? Look at an S15 like a Sylvia, and then look at the new Vantage again.
Is the S15 huge headlights?
No, the S15
they're like
they're
squared
kinda
off and
similar.
small.
They have the same
Oh,
curving
yeah.
in. I thought about that, and it kind of ruined me.
Interesting. Okay. I feel you.
We'll go to the next question while I find this.
Let's see. Oh, here's a Porsche question. Okay, Ethan says a TPC Cayman S or 996 Turbo, track capable mainly just for a fun street car. Also, saw your post on Instagram and sent in my resume, Betim.
All right, Ethan.
Oh, we'll go back to his in a minute. I've driven it. Have you driven a TPC car ever?
I have.
I enjoyed it, actually.
Yeah. So Mike knows what he's doing, man.
Mike Levitas is the man.
He's the man. He knows what he's doing.
They make
and he's
two
such a good
kits,
dude.
though. They make a non-intercooled and an intercooled. You definitely
You
want
have to
the
have the
intercooled,
intercooled, yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
But I drove one. It was fucking quick,
Yeah,
man.
they get with it.
The one I drove had street brake pads on it, and I smoked
On
the
fire.
brake.
Yeah.
It's
Just
so
like
gnarly.
dead.
But the power was amazing, dude.
Yeah.
A 400 horsepower Cayman is a big fucking car.
It's a lot of car.
Would you rather have a 996 Turbo or a 400 horsepower Cayman?
You know what? I'm still going to go with 996 Turbo because I have a
Because Metzger engine?
because Metzger, I have such a soft spot for 996s, and they're like the ugly duckling. They're like the purgatory between the air cooled and actually a proper. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
But I mean, look at Larry Chen's car. That's a pretty cool car. And 996 turbos are capable.
Oh, they are.
You don't have to do a whole lot to them to make them really fucking haul, and especially on a track.
Yeah.
It's just I think people they get lost in the front suspension with the crappy 4-wheel drive and all that shit. But there's stuff you can do to make these things just rail.
Yeah. Fair.
And nothing's better than driving on 911.
Yeah.
I just think that there's
Well,
an
I think the
experience there.
996s drive different than other 911s,
Yeah.
and they're my least favorite. But there's no arguing that you can hammer the shit out of a 996 Turbo, and it will take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. MB is Frenchie back again. He's got it. No dealer stuff. Good. Thank you, sir. Favorite Porsche colors? Do you have any favorite Porsche colors?
Whatever.
That Royal Oak green that we showed in the
God,
Carrera
that-
GT
that
earlier,
Royal Oak
very
green.
sexy.
There's
Cassis red.
Busy Moto's 911. That blue.
Oh, the blue.
that's a beautiful color.
yeah. Is that an original color?
I just think,
I have no idea.
know.
all honesty, the blues are beautiful, but I just think there's too many. There's too many different blues. There's too many. Every single, like paint to sample is
Yeah.
supposed to be special, right? And now
Everything's PTS.
Now I see a
Dude.
white
Yeah.
GT3 RS. I'm like, fuck, that looks great. It's
White,
like,
no stickers?
no stickers,
Yeah.
just done. And sometimes. I saw one the other day that had a white window banner that just said Porsche across it. It reminded me of a cup car, like rolling it out of the
Yeah.
trailer.
It's a little douchey, but
Well,
all
you
right.
know, I mean, that
If there's
Porsche.
ever a car you don't need to look at and go, what? Now who makes that?
that's the 911. But every single Porsche that I've ever seen rolling in Southern California has the wing or the windshield banner that says Porsche on it, but nothing looks like a Porsche, right? So I also don't get it. But white greens. There's a muddy green, and I don't know the color of it, that I saw a dude did a paint to sample on.
a muddy green.
Almost like an olive drab, but it had a little more brown in it.
Oh, like a vintage 70s color?
Yeah.
Huh.
And this guy, one of my customers, Tom, has a 72E that's this, like almost he calls it olive, but it's an olive color that looks so good.
Huh. I like Bahama orange too. I've seen
Yeah.
Bahama orange on the vintage cars. That's a fun.
Yeah.
That's a fun color.
Yeah.
I drove a modified 912 that was Bahama orange, and it was a really fun. Yeah, there's a Bahama orange.
Yeah, that's a great color.
I like that color. I think that's a perfectly period color, and it really, if you
That's
look at
a
it,
beautiful
just look
color.
at all the pictures that Zach has up right now.
Yeah.
Well lit afternoon light versus 12 o'clock hot light. It
changes.
really changes. It doesn't look good in a hot light, but it looks good in an afternoon glow. Yeah, Bahama orange is fun. There, look at that bottom left with that Targa there. It looks terrible, but when it's well lit, it looks really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
What else?
Okay, that's fine. Lawrence says, longtime viewer, love the show. Thank you, sir. Now that S550 V6, Mustang. The Mustang V6 has 310 horsepower, and they're selling for 22 to 24,000. Is it the softer 370Z you can daily? I think yes, actually.
That's actually pretty good.
V6 Mustangs are not terrible.
No.
They're kind of fast, and you can do some suspension work to them to make them handle really good, and they're probably better cars than 370Zs.
Yeah.
Yeah, overall, much more livable.
I think they look
better
a lot
quality
better,
car.
too.
More
Oh, yeah.
spacious,
Yeah.
better steering,
Right.
better MMI system.
So I don't know much about the Mustangs, but is stuff interchangeable? Like you could take GT3 control arms and put it on a
Pretty much.
Like
Yeah,
you take
pretty
the
much.
GT5 or 350 stuff and kind of interchange.
Yeah, you don't have to change geometries much with those. It's really about you run square stance wheels,
Right.
like 295s at all four corners, square stance, and then just a good set of either Coneys or Ford Racing shocks and springs, and like you're done.
Yeah.
You don't have to do a whole lot. Maximum Motorsports makes a total handling package for that car that's like maybe $6,000.
That's awesome.
That's like all you need to do.
I mean, that would be a good daily, good canyon car.
Yeah.
Good, if you want to go do DE and track day stuff.
I would definitely recommend a V6 over an EcoBoost if you want to drive
Oh,
quick.
yeah.
The EcoBoost fucking engine does not really work well with the Mustang.
Really?
It just is not a great engine for that platform. It doesn't sound good when you make it loud.
Right.
It dies at like 5,500 RPM. The V6 Mustang's pretty strong. Although consider the V6 Camaro, which is actually, I think, faster.
Which they make with a 1LE package. Which
Yeah.
would probably be a really good car for track driving. And
Although
everything.
I don't think you can get it for $22,000. I think it's probably closer to 30.
That's probably true.
That's
Yeah.
really that's a lot of car for $22,000.
It is a lot of car
Right?
for $22,000. Yeah. You know what's even more car? A 2014 Mustang GT with
Yep.
a fucking V8.
Yep.
That when the one we brought out to the thing with your car to
Yeah.
the shootout.
That car got with it
Bro,
too.
that car was like maybe $18,000 out the door, and it mobbed,
It
and it
hauled
was
ass.
so much fun to drive.
Yeah, that's
and
what
we
you guys
beat
were-
the piss out of
You
it.
guys were saying it was one of the most balanced cars you guys
It was
drove out there.
super balanced.
It got like third place overall,
Yeah.
but Lee was like, "This is the best, easiest thing to drive out
Yeah.
here." You know,
That's awesome.
Yeah, if you want a well-rounded daily / track day car, that 2014 Mustang GT with the Maximum Motorsports kit and the right tires, you're just done there.
And to the Mustang defense, I have a soft spot for Mustangs, and that's why I love their
Yeah.
car. You know, I still have my '67 Mustang, the first car I ever bought when I was 14 with my dad. So
When are you going to build that?
well, you know what? Now I almost turned it into a barbecue. Now,
It's been like he's got it, but it's not really a car. It's
just
like a bunch of shit in the corner.
When I started BBI, I had to sell the engine out of it. I think the transmission got stolen out of it in the back. I sold basically anything of value that I ever had to keep BBI when we first started going. And now I have a 2.5-year-old boy, and now I'm like, oh well, I got about 14 years to build this before his first car, you know. So now I have an end, you know.
Yeah, totally.
Now you just need time.
Yeah. I hope you do something with it.
I will. You know, so Art Morrison.
Too bad you're in the overhauling building. It's like a perfect candidate.
I know. And so my
maybe
Mustang,
your wife can call up Chip Foose. So fucking be like, come back.
I was right across the street. My Mustang was there the whole time. I was like, what the fuck? You guys didn't take my fucking car. I was just waiting for this thing to get stolen and act all surprised.
Oh,
you know?
so funny.
Never.
Big Sex says, how do you see Carrera T values playing out? Torn whether to wait for a depreciation hit or bite the bullet brand new. Torn on RAS. What is that? What's RAS and LEDs on a low option build? What's RAS? I don't know what RAS is. I don't know.
Sorry, Big Sect. I don't know.
Perfect 911 for me being 6'6" and living in altitude. So for you being tall and living in altitude, yes, a turbocharged car will serve you well. Have you driven a Carrera T,
Yes.
Tim? They're fucking sweet, aren't they?
Badass.
They're awesome.
I want one. I
They're
literally
such
want one.
nice cars.
Yeah.
And actually, do you know that? Did you know this? I'm sure you do. 40% of 911s sold in 2018 are GT cars.
Really?
Yeah.
40%.
40%.
I did not
So
know
the
that.
Carrera T is actually the rare one, not the GT3 or the RS. So
Yeah. So you know, to answer his question, I'm all about the Carrera T.
I love
all
Carrera T.
about hands down. I just drove one. My buddy Andy came by. He's like, "Here are the keys. You gotta go drive this thing." I'm like, He goes, and I fell in love with it immediately.
it's a very special little car.
It is.
It's fun.
It's got the thin glass or the Gorilla Glass in it. It's got the the little tweaky things with the seats and then the and low option
Rear steer,
Yeah.
limited slip diff,
It's
right
got-
power.
It's got all the boxes checked right out of the box that you should check.
Can you tune that motor?
Oh, yeah.
The base Carrera motor? What are you guys doing with it?
That motor will comfortably on OEM internals make 600 wheel.
What?
Yep.
Really?
The 3
base Carrera.
It makes 370 out of the box. The car is in its sleep. A Cobb tune, a set of.
What do you get out of just a Cobb tune on that car?
outta
So
here.
look, a Cobb tune, tile turbos. They're modified stock frame turbos. A really open exhaust, intercooling and induction.
Whoa.
But I'm trying.
Holy Yellowbird. 600 horsepower in a narrow body car?
Right?
That's a Yellowbird.
Now you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
So but for 600 you have to have methanol or a really good fuel.
Use
But pump
500
gas,
is fine.
500 all day long on 91 octane.
Wow.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, and then
Reliable.
reliable all day long. That you don't have to put a clutch in it at that point yet.
How's the 7-speed? Is a 7-speed strong, the manual?
So the 7-speed is strong. It's a derivative of the PDK, so it can handle some abuse. You don't have to put a clutch in it at that point yet. I mean, I'm sure you're going to burn it up pretty quick. Like you're going to 4th gear pulls, and it's going to. But, yeah, that's why I want one so bad, because I want to build one up and I want to go to the track. And
Yeah.
I want to go chase GT3s down.
You got to call
Yeah.
it the 911 Tee.
The Tee.
Well, I found that
Rail and
I
passenger.
drove it back to back with a GT3 Touring.
Oh,
and
that's
I found
right. I
that,
wanted to ask you about that,
I
yeah.
found that in the tighter sections,
Yeah.
the T was faster because it had the torque.
And it'll punch out of corners really good.
Yeah. But
But
the
imagine
GT3 it was the better car if you have 175 grand.
Yeah, but imagine if you threw 10 grand at that car,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden you're putting the same power to the ground as a GT3,
Could be very interesting.
but more torque.
Could be very interesting. Could be very interesting. Thank you. Dakota says you get an exclusive contract, hypothetical, exclusive contract from every manufacturer except Porsche. You can have any car they make, but only vehicles from them. So you can't work on Porsches anymore. You can work on any other car, but only their cars. Who would you jump ship for? That's a good question. Who would you jump ship off of Porsche to work on only their cars?
McLaren.
Ooh.
Yeah, I enjoy tuning those cars.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you been tuning them?
Yeah, we have been. We have the world record for fastest 720 and a half mile right now.
What did it run?
179.
That's pretty strong.
Literally tuning.
That's pretty strong.
Tuning down pipes.
What is it? Did you
I'm
dyno
sure-
it? What does it make?
We didn't dyno it. Yeah, but I don't know, 179. Like, so we tuned
Like a 918 will run 174 over and over and over again. Yeah.
We had at the same time a GT2 RS out there that we had our tune.
The new one.
Yeah, the new one. We had a tune, white pipe, plenum, stock exhaust, and that's it.
With wing or without wing?
We tried both. So check this out. What would you guess the wing is worth?
6.
What do you think?
10.
10? 1.5 consistently.
Fuck off.
I'm
No
not,
way.
I'm not fucking with you.
165.
165.
Those runway guys are such full of shit. Take your wing off. It's worth 10.
So we did it. We thought we were going to light the world on fire. 164, 165 all fucking day with the wing. 164, 165, 164, 165. And then we took the wing off. 165, 166. 165, 166.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Was it on? Is it adjustable for like low drag setting, or is that wing not adjustable?
It was just whatever that comes from when you unwrap the car.
Is the wing adjustable?
Because you
on the car?
Yeah.
So was it running a? Was it running a less than optimal downforce setting?
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? I don't know. But
that's so small. I would have thought it would be so much more.
I thought we were gonna get 5 miles an hour. I would have bet half of my shop on it.
Yeah.
Luckily, I didn't. But it's.
I mean,
that's
so interesting.
And so just to do it again, we thought, fuck it, bolt the goddamn wing back on. Let's just see. And then there you go. So.
That's so interesting.
Anyways, McLaren.
Have you fucked with the hypercar development guys at all? You know them?
No, but we just built. No, but they do some funky stuff.
They do some funky stuff.
Yeah,
you see the tri-turbo?
Yeah, they're taking a page out of the diesel world. They're like,
they're really.
How many turbos can we throw in
this?
They
go. How do we make this the most complicated vehicle?
Right. So we just took a 675 LT and threw big fucking turbos at it, injectors, and had Mitch do a full calibration on the dyno. Take a wild guess to the tires what it made with those three and open exhaust.
Big turbos.
Yeah.
Exhaust and tune. That's it?
MS-109.
And on race gas.
Yeah.
Fucking, it must have been 800 at the wheels.
861. That car is so violently fast. It's not even funny.
Yeah, 675s are gnarly.
Yeah.
The 720 is a much better car, though. 720 is delightful.
It is. It's exactly.
It's
delightful.
so nice.
But the 675 reminds me of a GT3. You get a little more connection with the car. It's a little more raw, but the 720 is just effortlessly fast.
To me, as a tall person, the 720 is the best tall person supercar that exists.
I can
sit straight up and look straight out, and that is worth its weight in gold.
What are you, 6'5", 6'4"?
No, I'm 6'2.5".
You carry yourself as a 6'4".
But it's I do. But what happens even in cars that tall people can fit in is they make you the headroom, but then it droops.
Yep.
So even though you can quote fit, you have to do this neck ducking thing that hurts. And in the 720S, you can sit straight up, and it's glorious.
And you see the cabin design of McLaren, and you see them like if you look at the 720, then you go to the Senna.
Yeah.
It's getting more front forward I think to accommodate more people,
Yeah.
maybe in a sense. But they're tilting the windscreen a little bit, but you have a lot more window.
Yeah,
you know? And so
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful car. What's it? 179.
179.
That's fucking fast. That's going.
Tune, downpipes.
That's going.
Good gas.
Did you run one stock? Did anyone run one stock?
I think we ran that car like 160 and change, high 160s, low 170s.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a big difference.
Yeah,
it's a big difference.
I think we did like 171. I don't
think most people appreciate what it takes to get 5 miles an hour in the half mile.
No, it's
100, 150 horsepower to get 5
at that level. But if you're going from 200 to 205, that's a whole nother story.
Oh yeah,
that's not 100 horsepower.
It's an exponential.
Right?
Yeah. Darth Jeremy says, "Would I ever get Leno on the podcast?" Yes, I would love to. Jay is great, but I would have to go to him. He won't come here, and I won't ask him to come here. But if there has been an offer, but I have to go to him, and so it's a little more complicated than just getting him on the show.
That was like me asking Joe Rogan if I could be on his podcast. And then 2 days later, Elon Musk was on there. So Joe's like, hey, cool, man, I like your stuff. And that's it.
A lot of people
I get it.
ask me if I can introduce them to Joe, and it's very awkward.
Right? Isn't
it's
that
very awkward.
Yeah.
I don't want to, because I've been on Joe's show, and only if he asks me. I don't go, hey, can I come on? He goes, hey man, it's been a while, come on down. Like, I'm filler fully.
Yeah. But it was funny. I shamelessly asked him to be on his show, and then he's like, oh no, I mean, really cool. He's like very appreciative of the shop and all this cool shit, and he goes, yeah, the little trail off.
Totally.
I get it. And then and then Elon Musk was there, and then blah blah blah. I was like, what the fuck am I asking that?
He's
for?
a little too big now.
Yeah.
It's, you know, and for Joe, like he is a car guy, but he knows his audience, and his audience is not that into cars. Yeah. Like they're just not. Like he loves cars. He'll talk to you and me about cars for fucking 6 hours.
Exactly.
But he just knows his audience is into nutrition, fighting, science. They're very varied, and they only
woke, the whole
they only want a trickle of cars. Yeah. And you know, I'm not gonna force them. Let's see. Current book recommendations, Martin says. Read anything good recently? They're not going to like my answer.
Okay, I'll admit it. I'm reading a book that I actually really liked was a book called Capital Gains. It was Chip and Joanna Gaines who do the house flipping in Texas.
Oh yeah,
they're like the quintessential perfect whatever they got going on, and then total moguls. They own half of Waco, Texas. I just read that book. I think it's awesome. I mean, it was just kind of a funny read, and it was cool to hear his story. Back to the whole thing is. You always see these successful people, right? And you're this and this and the watches and all this cool shit, you know, or for them watching them on one of the channel. My wife and I watch like cooking channels and
like home and garden,
garden shit all the time, you know, and that's kind of like our go-to. And so we're like, oh, this is cool. They own literally half of Waco and 58 houses. But then you read the book and it was like the journey was so arduous. I mean, it was. Literally, I mean, grinding.
Instagram makes success look very easy and very seamless.
If there was one
your
thing,
edited lifestyle,
yes,
you know?
it's such a like a cliff notes of a kind of like a highlight reel.
It's a highlight reel, yeah.
Yeah, and so if there was one thing that I could leave, if I left one mark on this fucking planet when whatever happens, it would be like just fucking don't pay attention to that shit, grind and work your ass off, you know? Yeah. Because everybody had to work their ass off. Yeah. You know, I mean, unless you were like somebody, you know,
being successful is pretty hard. If you can, because you got to stick it out through a bunch of shit.
You have to have, you know, you have to have like what I was just talking about yesterday is called intestinal fortitude. You have to have some fucking guts and a thick skin to do it. But you can do anything you set your mind to. But you know. I don't know. I'm trying to digress. Let's
wait. Last one, my book recommendations. There's a historian who just fucking slays on Twitter, and his name is Kevin Kruse, and it's Kevin M. Kruse, Kruse on Twitter. He's written a bunch of books. I've read 3 of them recently. The most powerful one, and people aren't gonna like this, I'm a fucking lefty snowflake, is called White Flight, and it's about basically the rise of the Conservative Party as a reaction to desegregation in America. And I learned a lot about our history.
Wow.
And this guy is not a partisan, he's a historian, and his goal on Twitter and his books is to give us the real history of America. And the real history of America is a much more fucked up than I was taught in my fucking hoity-toity schools.
And so this dude's a true historian.
He's a Princeton tenured historian. He writes about history, and I finished White Flight, and the other one was called One Nation Under God, How Corporate America Created Christian America, which is the most fucking frustrating book I have ever read in my life. I mean, I screamed. Every page I go, fuck! It's Kevin M. Kruse, Kruse on Twitter. He's a mandatory follow on Twitter, and also yeah, there you go. Is that no? That's not it. Look up Kevin M. Kruse, not that Kevin Kruse.
Son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch. I really, really, really recommend. There's White Flight. There's One Nation Under God, and Fault Lines was the other one.
How did you get turned on to this?
From following this guy on Twitter, because he fucking destroyed like Dinesh D'Souza and all those fucking racist assholes, and with history, not destroy them with attitude, like with historical.
By the way, here are
facts. Here are some facts.
Right.
And he's a mandatory follow on Twitter, and I cannot recommend his books enough. I can't wait to read the next one.
Awesome.
Okay. Anyway, next question. Thank you. Sir. Oh, and look at this. I love this. This is someone who has pulled a comment from the regular comments section and donated to drop it into the super chat. So thank you. The question is from Brady Huber. I wish I had the cash to ask if I'm going to ever have the Safari owners out west to do some group driving. Yes. Lee and I are working on a West Coast safari rally, just like he did in the Appalachias. The next few cars are West Coast cars. We are going to do a West Coast trip.
When's this gonna? When do you think?
I don't know. I think the next 4 cars over the next year are going to be LA cars.
So I'm gonna build a safari car.
Do it. Come out.
But it's gonna be an air cool or water cooled.
Okay.
car. So if
You're welcome to come. Yeah. It doesn't matter what your car is as long as you're fucking cool. Come out and drive with us.
I just want to drive a 911.
We either want to do I don't know if we're going to do California. I like the Washington that we did. The Washington Discovery route was so good. Mm-hmm. That was really a nice one. Or Oregon maybe. Somewhere with a little more greenery.
I've been route planning for something for day job in Wyoming, and a lot of the really twisty roads there that I would zoom in on are forest roads, not
Really?
paved. So it's not working for what I'm doing. But I was like, bookmark.
Ooh,
bookmark,
Wyoming
bookmark.
sounds nice. I've never been to Wyoming, really. That could be a good one. Yes, we are planning a West Coast one, but we need to get a few more West Coast vehicles. If you happen to own a Safari in the West Coast, email me and we'll get you on the list. Thank you. Griffin says, got a 2017 Camaro SS 1LE. By the way, I'm cutting off the Superchart questions now. We have to end the show eventually, so no more questions for now, please. Thank you. 2017 Camaro SS 1LE with 3,500 miles for $10K under sticker. Well bought. Any shortcomings of that car I should address first? That car doesn't have a lot.
Fluid, right?
Car doesn't have a lot of ices.
If you're
brake
just doing
pads, brake
mountain
fluid.
driving, you're not doing it on the track. Like it should be able to handle that fine.
Do these cars out of the box? Are they burning up the outside of the tires? Do they need or are they pretty solid?
I've never spent enough time with one to tell you.
We have a new ZR1 showing up.
Have you driven one yet?
No, but
that's batshit.
That's what my customer said. Hey, I'm going to drop the car off. I was like, I can't get to it till next week. He goes, I don't give a shit, but you got to go drive the fucking car.
Dude, those cars, we talked about this last show. They are nuts. They want to jump out of their own tires. They're so crazy. And it has the loudest idle of any stock car I've ever heard.
That's awesome.
And it's so crazy because on the one hand, it's this nutty thing that runs like a 26 or something around Road Atlanta stock. And, it runs like quarter miles in the 10s, whatever, and it just, it fucking rears up on its haunches and wants to fucking kill you. But also, it's totally just a Corvette.
Okay.
Like when you want just a Corvette, like it's just a Corvette. Yeah. Like, you daily it, whatever. Like you could daily one, and there would be, other than the low front splitter, there's no sacrifice at all to daily a ZR1 versus like a base Corvette. They're the same.
Right.
They're crazy. Crazy.
That's what he said. He's like, you have to fucking drive it.
Yeah,
like, okay.
They're so nuts, dude. You can't believe
the
that,
factory said, "Hey guys, here's some keys."
Yeah, like $1,200 a month. You lease this fucking thing. Like, there's no driving, no racing school required. None of this bullshit. Like, show up, yeehaw. Here's a check for $120, and like, you have a nutty machine. Yeah, they're fucking. I don't have it. I don't know a lot of shortcomings. Pads, fluid, tires. Your Camaro should be good to go. Duncan says top 3 underappreciated Porsche liveries.
What's up, Duncan? I know Duncan.
Do you? That's a tough question for me because I don't know enough liveries that I can choose an underappreciated one. The only one I can
really
think of
like
is
the Interscope one, which was at Rennsport, because they're just black and they're slant nose and it just says Interscope on the top. It looks mean as fuck. It's got those cool like heat extractors on the wheels. Mm-hmm. Like it looks like Darth Vader's car.
That's
it
awesome.
Really looks like it showed up. It's like, everybody sit down.
I don't know if it's underappreciated, but I really like Adam Carolla's like Hawaiian Tropic.
Yes.
The Hawaiian Tropic one is like so 70s and fun. That one is. Do you have the Interscope one? Is that what you? Oh yeah, that's great.
The Interscope one is sexy.
I mean, look, there's no arguing with all black.
Yeah.
All black is good.
And
that's
pink.
a fucking great color.
Look at that.
That's fantastic. That's a really, really good color, man. With black with the red and white nose stripe. That's
Huge
really
fender,
good.
And you could see the engine through the back. Dude, the thing was just mean.
What do you think of that new 935 there, Betim?
Oh, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, get closer to the mic. You're wandering.
I don't know. So it's an $800,000 car, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's
that you can't drive on the street.
Essentially, it's kind of like the Turbo Cup we built for Pikes Peak.
Yeah,
it's a cup car with boost, but it's this way. They stuck a street 2RS engine transmission into a cup car and put cool bodywork on it. So it's not sanctioned for to run in anything. You can club race it. I mean,
What do you do? What do you do with it? Is the question.
You know, if I was the guy, right, and I had the money, I would get my buddies. I'd take that fucking car. I'd go 25 hours to Thunder Hill. You know,
you could race it in AER.
Yeah, right.
You could. You actually could race it. They'll put you in Group 1. You can or Group 5. You can race in AER.
Right.
The word on the street with the Malibu Porsche Club is that only the suckers are going to buy this because next year the street version's coming out, and that's the one to have.
The street version's coming out, huh?
That's the word on the street.
Well, I saw the same mule that they were testing with that was all in the 2RS. Essentially 2RS bodywork on a cup car without the 935 stuff.
And in this picture, it looks like a fucking shanty fake car. Like this, for some reason, this picture uniquely makes it look not right.
That stuff too much.
There's a lot happening in that rear 3/4, right? That just makes it look busy. Doesn't look right. I don't know. I don't have a lot of, well, in the official press photos, it looks right. Yeah. I don't know about, the Hawaiian Tropic is my number one underappreciated Porsche livery, but that Interscope one is a good call, Zach.
Mine's the Apple Computer.
Same car, isn't it?
Bobby Ray Hall.
Isn't the Hawaiian Tropic one the same car as the Apple Computer?
I think it was the same car.
Because that car was raced, when I had Motorator Matt DeAndrea on the show, that car was raced a bunch of times in a bunch of different liveries. He said the chassis fucking twisted in it because it was raced so many times. That's the OG Apple Computer.
Look at that.
You know what? You never see Apple doing a throwback, do you?
I know.
Apple is not really a throwback type
we
company.
did a car for SEMA in that livery. It was awesome.
Did you really?
Yeah.
With the Apple Computer?
I think it was like 2013. We did the car we built, Project Grip. We did it all up. It was pretty cool.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah.
It hasn't aged. It really looks like a gay rights car now.
Right.
It hasn't aged well. Thank you. Jack says, my wife hates my M2. She hates that it's a manual. I'm sorry to hear that. You probably should have cleared that first. Those are
one of those things.
That's not a thing that she figures out later. Should I keep it, trade it for an automatic M2, or get a used Lexus GSF or something else? I mean, look, if you love your M2, which the rest of your comment says you do, and your wife hates it, the M2 with the dual clutch is not so bad.
It's badass.
It's a nice car. I mean, you're going to take a mathematical bath on it, but if you really like the M2, I don't think the GSF is the car for you. It's big.
I spent a week with the M2 automatic in Germany, and it was great. You know
the thing about like new
8 speed,
transmissions with the dual clutch and all that stuff. I think it's I was at a track not too long ago. And I hopped into a manual GT3 and then the PDK and then another car. I drove like 4 different cars, and I didn't even realize until the end. I'm like, oh fuck, that was an automatic. Oh fuck, you just jump in, and when you're shifting, your focus, you got something. So I always think you always have 100% of focus when you're driving, right? And that's all you get is 100%. So 20% goes here, 20% goes shifting. You know what I mean? So
you've read Ross Bentley's book, haven't you?
No, but I know who he is.
Yeah, Speed Secrets, the 100 points. That's Speed Secrets, Ross Bentley.
Yeah. Well,
that's okay.
Me and Ross,
Your idea is not original.
No, okay.
That's okay. He's like the best driving instructor of all time.
That's
so
what I heard.
You're good.
Yeah. All right. But no, you forget that because you're hitting everything else, and you just take whatever you're going to use here in shifting. But I love shifting a car just because I was driving. I remember this. I was driving the 25 hours of Thunder Hill in a 993, like in 2005 or whatever it is, and I used the shifting as kind of like the conductor. I was like, turn 1, click 5th, 4th, turn in. And pretty soon you get into this rhythm, and it sets the pace. I missed a shift. I went from 5th, and I went instead of into 4th, it's just like false neutral, and I was all over the place, but I wasn't going any faster or any slower. It's just it set that rhythm for me. So
right, that's a good way to look at it.
But then the PDK cars or the dual clutch and all that shit, is you still get that in. You're just taking something else from somewhere and adding it. Driving.
Yeah, I don't mind the automatics so much as long as they're responsive. If the automatic is responsive, if it listens to you, it's good. And the BMW dual clutch is very good at listening to you. I have never had an issue with the BMW dual clutch. It's a responsive gearbox. And this dude, if he likes his M2, he might take a little financial bath having to switch from a manual to an auto. And the Lexus GSF, like that Eisen 8-speed is very good, but the GSF itself isn't the best compared to the M2. The M2 is a more nimble, fun car.
Oh, absolutely.
I would just switch his gearbox.
Were any of his options keeping that car?
Getting a divorce. You could keep
Yeah, I
the
was
car
gonna
and
say
get a
get
divorce.
buried by your wife. No,
keep the
okay,
car, get a
if I
divorce.
had to, I would say the dual clutch.
Yeah, the
M2.
dual clutch M2 is a really nice car. I have no problem with it. I told you people were into construction. Here's the next one. I can't pronounce your last name, brother, but Montazer, whatever your last name is, bro. When he says, when you're building and arguing with the municipality about development, could you expand on how you won? Currently dealing with the same thing. So, all right.
And right there is where the audio system completely freezes, ending our show a little bit early. I'm sorry about that, folks. We weren't able to get the stream back up in a timely fashion, and so we had to end the show there. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Check out BBIAutosport.com, as well as follow them on Instagram and all your social media. If you happen to be in Southern California, in Huntington Beach, stop by their showroom, which is open most business days during normal business hours. And of course, if you want to get a crazy Porsche motor built, that is a great place to do it. We love Betim. Sorry we had to end the show that way. That's not really how I like to do it. But thank you for listening, and see you next time on the Smoking Tire Podcast.